Oi, 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 da. Man, my table is a mess. I only really realized that when I tried to use my console, which is sitting on the table and otherwise being hostless. So, I realized that this was 2 weeks ago, and I forgot to upload the last part on YouTube, or the latest part, so, guess I'm a fucking idiot. I even prepared the highlight for it, I just didn't upload it for some reason, but here we are. Doing more of this. Haha! What did we do last time? I think we did Nightmare Frontier. Yeah. I think that's it, right? Or was it? Oh yeah, we did Cainhurst, right? Oh yeah, I remember I wanted to look up exactly how to do the quest line as well before I did that. Good thing I did remember to look up the quest line and I know things now. Oh well, that's cool. I don't think that is a time limit on it though, so I think we can just keep doing whatever we want to. This old cube, I think, is the implied memory cube part in that. Actually, now that we're I only realized that the other day, right, Artman? So, some streamers do that thing where they, whenever they respond to a comment or like answer a question or whatever, they read out what the message in chat even was before responding, because obviously if you're watching this in the archives or whatever, like if you watch on the YouTube channel or whatever, you're not gonna see the chat. At least not on the PS4 stream, because I don't have the chat box open. So maybe if I'm streaming on PS4 I should do that, like, oh, memory cube you say, how about just old cube instead? Haha, here's my very clever comment after your presented setup. Or I just don't do that. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing to think about, how people handle that sort of thing. Anyway, so we have... I think my monitor is fucking up. Some weird color flashes going on that aren't on the actual stream preview. Well, I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, so we did Nightmare Frontier and we did Cainhurst. Let us then do Upper Cathedral Ward today. And then we'll see where we go from there. Anything else we... You know what, let's start with that so we have something to do, and maybe I'll just get back into the flow of things, and once we've done that I'll just look at the various headstones and figure out what I need to do maybe from there. Give me 1 second to attempt to fix something. I hope this is not too loud as I'm about to fuck around here briefly. So I know that one of my my issues with my monitor is that it overheats basically, is a thing it sometimes likes to do. It doesn't do it consistently or reliably, but sometimes it starts doing like weird color shit if it's been running for a while, and sometimes it doesn't even need to be running for a while, it just does it. So what I sometimes do then, if I need to use it and need to fix that, ideally, then I do I have this can of condensed air, is it just, or something? Like pressurized air, basically, which is usually fairly cool, so I just use that and spray it into the back of my monitor and hope that cools it down a little bit. We do have the key, don't we, for Upper Cathedral Ward? I think we picked it up somewhere. Yeah, here it is. But yeah, so I just gave it a little spray and hope it's better now. It doesn't show up all the time, it's some weird ass just a little, how do I describe that? Like, when things are moving, there might be a little decoloration happening every now and then. Sort of thing on my monitor. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get into the spin of things. Get it, because I'm using this thing. Transforming there actually took a bit longer than I expected. Yeah, that will probably long-term fix all of your monitor issues. That is definitely the way to do it, or one of the ways to do it, I'd say. Aha, we commit murder. Very good at that. I say that despite playing DVD yesterday and not being that great at the murder thing. I guess that is okay. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, this was exactly that sort of situation, right? Like, oh yeah, that will fix everything. And if you're just watching on YouTube, you have no idea what I just responded to. You see the pop-up in the corner, like, oh boy, there's a new message. So he responded to someone in chat, so some very handsome and nice fellow must be in the chat right now to actually talk to. But you can't see that on this fucking on the bot, so maybe I should have just said, like, read out your comment first and then responded to it or something. I don't know. It's weird. I guess if you're watching this on YouTube and you have particular feelings, I should say, about that, then please let me know your preference. Hydrate. I shall do that. Tyver Master, also welcome. I'm always a little bit worried about doing that with my old headphones because it's a headset, so the microphone is really close to my mouth, so I don't want to accidentally do like full ASMR like mouth sound sort of bullshit, because a lot of people are very upset by that from what I hear. We did explore this, didn't we? Yeah, we picked up the item. Aww. What if the viewer is Artman? Oh, that probably... I mean, I don't know. Not sure why you would watch that twice. For what it's worth, I appreciate having you in the chat. Open door with upper cathedral war key. Upper cathedral key, I should say. So this is where the church did the weird shit. Yeah, the thing about the bot compliments is because as a little sting to the I pay for compliments smiley face sort of thing, is that you get a backhanded compliment or a shitty compliment that doesn't mean anything. No, on the contrary, Artman is alright. Played some Hastus with him. Oh boy. Yeah, he's a well-art man. Player online message, fantastic. Do you guys even do anything? I forgot if you had attacks. You looked like you were trying to attack me. This will not stand. You shall die. But yeah, more slug bullshit. Very fancy. Also, look at this beautiful sky. So I get some fun horror-esque background ambience here in this upstairs area. The upper cathedral ward. This beautiful clock tower. I should pause and look around more in this game. I kinda grew out of doing that, but on my first playthrough I spent a lot of time just always taking in the sights and looking at everything. There's so much to see and it looks so cool and interesting. Yeah, I mean, that is a good expenditure of points. There's basically no other way of spending them anyway with what we currently have. Anyway, hello you guys. Don't shoot me, Frodo. Yeah, thought I could iframe through that. I cannot. I mean, you can just use it that way, where if you are taking a drink, then you press the hydrate button, or vice versa. If you're trying to hydrate, then like if you're using the thing, then you should also take a drink just to get some extra water in you. Since apparently that is the thing that most people struggle with. I usually am like kind of exempt from that. I usually just drink enough. It kind of depends on what I'm doing. Like some things when I play various games, I just have plenty of little pauses, and I just had the habit for a long time already of just whenever I had a pause, I just take a drink. So I'd be like, oops. I'd be pressing random buttons and nothing of value happens. No, I'd be playing a game like Counter-Strike, for example, and then every round, whenever the round ends or when I'm dead or whatever, I'll just take a little sip of water or whatever. And that sounds like a good idea, but depending on how the games are going, sometimes you're just having way too much drinking going on, and I'd be in the bathroom like once an hour, which kind of shifts into sort of unhealthy. Oh, you mean fuck, I can't do academic gallery on this thing, sadly. I should disable that for the PS4 streams, actually. Yeah, sorry, you'll have to get a academic gallery for free then once the regular streams resume. Yeah, I'm thinking about if I can do anything about that, but I don't think I can. Like, this is entirely off the PlayStation, and I don't think I have access to that this way. No. Sorry, I'll just have to give you a free one once we go to the next stream that is back on the PC. But yeah, I kind of developed that habit of, oh, I'm dead in this first-person shooter that I'm playing, might as well get a quick little drink in there. Or like, I play a MOBA, I die, like, alright, well, I don't have anything to do, may as well take a drink, and so on and so forth, and just, I usually have the habit of just drinking too much rather than too little. And then other times I'd play a game like, maybe like Bloodborne or whatever, where if things are going well, I'm not dying very much and there's no real break between things, although, like, loading screens technically, but where there aren't that many good opportunities, and then I just actually hydrate, because suddenly my regular pattern of take little breaks every time, or take a sip every time you have a small break, suddenly doesn't work anymore. So basically, I think the best way of trying to do the hydration thing is to look for places in your, I don't know, in your daily life, be that at work or at home or whatever, where you can associate it with something else, like, oh, anytime you, I don't know, like, anytime you, like, if you're a smoker, for example, anytime you go get a smoke, also have a drink in the meanwhile, or every time you, I don't know, whatever, like, anything you habitually do anyway, attach having a drink to that, ideally. Like, altering habits is much easier than building or breaking habits, from what I hear, so that's kind of how I'd try going about that. Man, I haven't been up here in such a long time. I haven't played this game in a long time. But somehow my memory of this is slightly worse than base game, or rest of the game. This is base game, but like rest of the game. Huh. Maybe I skipped that on some of my later playthroughs. Been all these likely babies. As in, I think if memory serves, these were babies that were experimented on or tried to, where the church was trying to transform them into grade ones or some shit. Like, a lot of fucked up stuff happened, as is normal in this game. It's kind of interesting how, after not having played this for a while, you go back to the Upper Cathedral Ward, and now we're talking about, like, oh hey, they abducted babies and experimented on them to turn them into, like, grade ones or whatever. Like, that's a topic that just comes up basically out of nowhere. Yesterday was a normal day, and today we're talking about babies being, like, experimented on. That's normal. This is fine. I guess everything is blood echoes eventually, if you boil it down, or mash it down, saw it down small enough. Some frenzied cold blood. Basically just some monies. I wonder what's up with the crows. I don't think there's any specific lore to the crows, but they're definitely like bigger and nastier than normal crows would be. Maybe it's just a part of the world, and not necessarily a bad thing. Like a particularly bad thing, I should say. Don't they do the rolling boulder thing here, or something? Isn't there some sort of trap? My trap sense is tingling. That's some sturdy ass bonfire. Yes, you've seen me. Good job. That was fast. Ow. Holy, I thought that was Stagrim. Was going to Stagrim, I should say. Never mind. You gave 0 fucks. Pretty stupid death. I could have played it much more safe, but I thought the transformation attack was gonna Stagrim. Since the transformation attacks usually have extra, like, what would that be called? Guard break? Stagger value? I don't know. They're like girthier when it comes to that sort of shit. So, especially with something big like the pizza cutter. I almost called it by its real name. Goddamn. Especially with something like that. Oh, that is frenzy. Ow. Okay, don't get hit by the monster babies. Good call. Thank you for the reminder, Bloodborne. Avoid monster babies at all costs. said, don't get hit by the monster babies. God damn it, brain. These are not hard instructions. As in difficult instructions. Like, that shouldn't be particularly... Oh, fuck, I don't have the quad button. Good man. Fucking everything on my desk's in the way. Can't see shit. There we go. There. Sorted. Oops. Yeah, it is on. Nice. Basically, yeah. That was a fun first day of DLC. Do you have my souls? You don't look like you have my souls. So one of you have... Oh yeah, there you are. You have my souls. Let's change that. Those belong to me. Me alone. Let's see if this works. Works alright. Hey, we got some pebbles. Neat. So I don't think I've drawn attention to that yet in this playthrough, but the pebbles do look like eyes quite a bit, don't they? Let's have a closer look at them. These definitely look like eyes turned to stone. A little bit, yeah. Let me just vacuum clean all these fucking eldritch babies off the floor. It's normal. Come on. Oh fuck, I was being greedy. I wanted to have the full charged one. No follow-up. Still no follow-up, right? This seems like a really bad spot for him to fight, because his, like, horizontal swings are just too high to hit you on the stairs. Oh well. Give me some munching, and there's already a brain sucker. Let us equip something of use. I think this is gonna help. Since you guys do not appreciate... Excuse you, Bloodborne man! I was expecting that to be a bit better, actually. Ooh, that did not stagger. Oh, guess fuck. Alright, that? Yeah, Bloodborne man is in dire need of some throwing lessons. Ow. Also disappointingly low damage. Oh Gott, der ist heute, sagst du? Meine Güte. Hab ich gar nicht dran gedacht. Nee, habe ich komischerweise nicht. Hab auch keine, glaube ich. Aber hi Franzi. Dir allerdings dann auch einen schönen Nikolaustag. Du hast wahrscheinlich mehr damit zu tun, mit Kindern und Co. Right, let's have a look at the choir set description then. Choir garb. Attire of the choir. High-ranking members of the Healing Church. Members of the choir are both the highest-ranking clerics in the Healing Church and scholars who continue the work that began at Bergenworth. Together with the left-behind Great One, they took to the skies in search of astral signs that may lead them to the rediscovery of true greatness. So they're doing some astrology bullshit alongside whatever the fuck they were doing. Anything fancy on here? Nope, that looks fairly generic. Yep, same descriptions. Ja, es ist erstaunlich, wie einfach das ist, das einfach so zu vergessen. Also, keine Ahnung. Ist kein schrecklich wichtiger Tag, wenn man nicht irgendwie mit Kindern oder so beglückt ist. Well, that's not really an aim sort of thing. You just, like, do I have an enemy here to demonstrate that? Not really. You basically lock onto a target, you just press the, like, lock on button, and then they have that little white dot on them, and your camera is centered on them. And from there, if you press any, like, shoot or like throw item button or whatever, it should automatically target that enemy and throw items at them, like sort of like an RPG sort of thing, where if you have like a target, it would throw at the target. It's just that in this game, the throwing animation is a little bit awkward, and the throw arc of the Molotov cocktail especially has like this slight well, arc, I guess, to it, which makes it hard to hit targets that should otherwise be fairly easy to hit. Also, let's turn on the hand lantern, because this is fairly dark. It's also slightly spooky, especially with the going on in the background. So it's less about like console aim or whatever, and more about, hey, my lock-on, or rather my targeted attack, is coincidentally a little bit awkward and thus doesn't target properly. It's usually not a big deal, because most enemies in this game are fairly big and hard to miss, but the smaller ones are especially can be a little bit finicky to get going, or to get hit without shoulder shot. Look at this Mr. Werewolf up there, totally pretending we're not seeing him. Maximum stealth. I think some weird shit happens here, if memory serves. I think there's an enemy behind this door. It's gonna bust out if we take that item. Maybe? Through the window here. Ah. Get fucked, Mr. Blue Eyes Black Werewolf. And I think this door is a shortcut for later. Yeah. Opens from the other side. Yeah, I remember you talking about that in, when we were playing the Souls games as well, like doing Dark Souls 1 through 3. Which still makes me wonder why you're playing them, if you're not terribly interested in them. Like, I get not wanting to play them yourself, but finding them entertaining to watch or, like, read about, learn about, but, just, I don't know. It's not mandatory to play them. Nice illuminated, big old open area. Should be fun to explore. I'm sure nothing bad happens here. As long as the lights stay on, we should be fine. It's 2 werewolves on that thing, actually. Well, I mean... oh fuck, they all 3 aggro, I forgot about that. Here, I thought we were gonna be fine. Let's see if we can maybe get one of these parries. Oh, oops, I'm dead. Let's try to cheese them a bit on the stairwell. Lovely, lovely pizza cutter, doing massive amounts of work. Sorted. But yeah, the point would be, why buy them if, or at least especially continue to buy them if not terribly interested. And yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with not wanting to play them or like only watching them over playing them. I am not judging that at all. Just the way Kojak phrased that, and has in the past also phrased it, made it sound like I have to play them for whatever reason. Which, I don't know. I feel like if you never looked at them at all, or if you have never tried playing them, I feel like you're missing out a little bit, especially with how iconic Dark Souls has become. Like, at least playing or giving the original one a try. Oh fuck, I was busy rambling. Here we go, more insight spent. Yeah, fair enough. I just played them as they, roughly as they came out, so I would just not buy the second one if I didn't enjoy the first one, sort of thing. But yeah. I feel like most people that are like into video games owe it to them to like give them a try at some point just to see if maybe it is for them or not, because of the ridiculous amount of influence the series has gotten over time. Like, there's a lot of, especially like in terms of game design sort of things, that games have taken from the Souls series, whether they wanted to be like that or not. But in general, the like, just it's kind of like some like history almost sort of thing. Like you gotta give it a look at least, or at least know what it's about roughly. Yeah, cheese definitely goes well together with pizza. It's kind of mandatory, I guess. Yeah, fair enough. The main point there was try rather than have to force yourself. Let's see what this badge reads. Cosmic Eye Watcher Badge. Badge of a member of the choir, elites of the Healing Church. The eye signifies the very cosmos. The choir stumbled upon an epiphany, very suddenly and quite by accident. Here we stand, feet planted in the earth. But might the cosmos be very near us, only just above our heads? So you're gonna get some like imagery of like the sky and the cosmos and shit here, and I never quite got that. Like I never quite understood what the like how that came to be, what their epiphany was, and how they like connected those. From the way I understood it, a lot of this game is like, or uses the ocean and like mines and dreams and shit like that. Like all that imagery is fairly fleshed out and used quite a lot and easy to understand, but I never quite understood where the whole sky and cosmos and stuff part comes from. Like there's not that much astrology sort of thing in this. Yeah, but like that's true for Cthulhu, and like they kind of go into that, but in Bloodborne, at least from my understanding of it, which is why I'm like saying like I just don't know how that applies to this game, but yeah, in Bloodborne itself feels fairly let's say grounded, for lack of a better term. Like I never understood these as necessarily like space aliens per se, but like just maybe primordial creatures or like creatures from other planes of existence, which doesn't necessarily equate with like cosmic stuff for my brain anyway, but maybe I'm just misunderstanding that term to begin with, so oh, is that cut off? Do I have to go along the corridor? That makes sense. Okay, cool. Yeah, I hear a fucking another brain sucker in that corridor as well. I think the Wandering Nightmare, which is a little critter that drops stuff, is gonna try to bait me into a brain sucker, and it's probably gonna succeed, knowing me. Here we go. Yeah, for the mythos stuff, I know about that. I'm just, like I said, I'm just wondering about how... Here I am having my ramble, and suddenly my heart disappears. God damn, screw you, Mr. Brainsucker. Anyway, I'm just wondering how that relates to the Bloodborne thing as well. Like, the whole beasts and Pthumerians and ancient labyrinths that they were digging in, because that's kind of where that whole stuff started, doesn't really line up with the sort of space and cosmosy sort of thing. But yeah, it's just kind of like a me thing, how do work, I wonder. Oh yeah, it's that hallway, I remember that. I think there's another brain sucker up here. Yep, there they are. There they are, there they are. Sneaky, sneaky. Not right now, Mr. Werewolf. I'm killing brain suckers. Oh, that's not a werewolf, that's another brain sucker. Never mind. I guess you have every reason to complain then. As long as I don't over... Aw, come on, that hit me. Damn it. We are losing a shit ton of insight up here. Which is ironic, given that this is actually a good place to learn a lot about the lore and shit, so it's fairly ironic that we're losing that. Since we're kind of gaining that IRL. I couldn't dash before that! He true comboed me with that, that's fucked up. I don't think that's supposed to happen, oh well. Like, I was mashing circle as I was getting up there, and I couldn't dodge. Lame. Alright, let's go through that a little bit quicker this time. What I could do, and probably should do, is just equip some bolt paper and just apply that to the weapon, because I think lightning is really effective against these eldritch fuckers. And I think the brain suckers are considered eldritch or something. But at least their physical resistances are really good. That part is definitely true. Right, let's try to go through here a little bit more quickly then. This is how you lose your shit in Souls games. You die and then you go, hey, let's go through this a little bit more quickly. And then you die again, and then you get impatient, like, oh fuck, hate this game, just wanna go through it quickly, and then you die again, and you're like, oh fuck, and it keeps getting worse. It's a vicious cycle. Right, so we start with the lights out because this has already happened. Why do you have my souls? I mean, I'm okay with that because I got them back very quickly this way, but kind of cheaty of you to steal them through the door. Yeah, this is the other side of the door is where we just died. Lame. So close. Yeah, that could well be. That fits quite a lot. Actually, that's another comment where I should, like, as I keep rambling about it, that I should probably read out. It's the idea of otherworldly alien beings being such a big deal and us being so insignificant, with beings from space then having huge underwater cities and dreams of old cults, and realms, I should say, with old cults being found at ruins, etc. So it's probably also using space to indicate how insignificant we are, we and our attempts to resist the horror and gods are. So yeah, I agree with that, and I think that's definitely a cool part of the mythos stuff and works really well. Just, once again, not enough in this game in particular relates to that sort of theme for me, personally. Like, I just... Like, there's... Like, for example, the... you have the opportunity with the Bergenworth Scholar place thingy, the... what's it called? Brain is struggling to find words while also getting minced by werewolves. Give me a sec. Like, their observatory that they have there at the lake and stuff. Like, they have plenty of opportunity to give that a little astrology touch in some sense. Like, maybe have, like, equipment looking at space stuff and talking about space stuff and like, oh, the stars, maybe they come from the stars or whatever. Like, you have opportunity to, like, place that throughout the game to set that sort of theme as well, and to introduce space as a topic, as a theme for this game as well, to make that point. But they don't really do that very much in this game, at least from what I remember, so that's kind of where my disconnect with it comes from. That is absolutely true, and I might just not know enough of the bits that are in there to try to tell that part of the story. Well, horoscopes is a little bit of a unfitting version of that, I guess, but yeah. Even that stuff on like some minor level would make sense. Bloodborne also thematically feels a little bit more, or rather a little bit less like the, oh, we're, at least for the population within the game, a little bit less like, oh, they're so much like bigger and we're so insignificant and whatever the fuck. But at the same time, more like they're trying to also like learn from that and try to get onto that plane. Like, these scholars and the church and whatever, they're interested in studying them and trying to become like them, rather than like, oh my god, this is fucked up shit, we're all gonna die. So maybe less of a, or slightly less at least of a horror touch and more of a, I hear the brain sucker again, but I have already completely forgotten what that was last time. Hey, we got some ritual blood 3. Let's have a look at that real quick. Material used in a holy chalice ritual. One of the basic ingredients used to satiate a holy chalice is this incoagulable blood. When all is melted in blood, all is reborn. I think that's the same description as the base one, although it looks quite different. Yeah, basically. Like, here's your gamer horoscope. How will you do today? Pisces, you say, oh boy, get fucked by kill streaks. Really? I was mid-swing and you would have died from that. God, I hate these guys. I should have used the bolt paper, I even equipped it for this purpose. Oh well. Guess I'm gonna die. Please don't true combo me again, because that was pretty nasty. Yeah, I can't roll on wake up there. So he actually just killed me for completely free. What a cheaty fuck. Gamer horoscope brought to you by G Fuel and Red Bull. Or some shit. I could see that. God, especially with like gacha games and shit, like, oh, your luck is gonna go well today, like, you should totally spend all your money on the RNG loot box stuff today, you're gonna get that legendary that you always wanted. I could see people being, what's the word? What is that word, actually? Like, I could see people believe in that shit, even though it's nonsense. Well, the German word I'm thinking of is abergläubisch, like believing in bullshit, like, oh, you broke a mirror, now you have bad luck, that sort of thing. Gullible is good. Gullible is right. Superstitious, there you go, that's perfect, that's what I was looking for exactly. Tywin. Alright, we're just gonna use this, fuck it. This should help. Okay, it technically helps, so I'm not wrong, and that's the important part. Being wrong is terrible, you should try to never ever be wrong, obviously, so even if it doesn't really help, as long as it technically helped, you are correct, and being correct is all that matters, so here we go. Damn, that's a lot less useful than I thought. Hey, we got the Orphanage Key, I think we need that to proceed here. What am I superstitious about? Huh. Good question. I ponder this over a drink. You should hydrate, by the way. I'll just toss that reminder in there every now and then, just whenever I have a drink, I'll tell you guys to drink as well. Be like Health Cube, follow my lead to become healthy and fine and shit. What am I superstitious about? I think on some minor level, I try to, or attempt to believe into a little bit of karma, maybe? Like, the general notion of, hey, if you're doing well, or if you do good, I should say, and you're good to people, then maybe life will be better to you on a very minor and slight level. I don't truly believe that. Like, I'm not sitting here like, oh yeah, I'll go to heaven or whatever, smiley face, but just like that, I think, is probably the one thing, I don't know. At least I'd like to believe that. It's kind of a nice thought. Blindfold cap! How fitting. Fitting the fucking superstition and nonsense horoscope stuff that we're talking about. The blindfold cap. Tyrants acquire high-ranking members of the Healing Church. We have seen that. The eye covering indicates their depth to the teaching of the Master Willem, even though their paths diverged. So, referring to the fact that these guys split from the Bergenworth scholars and founded the choir and Healing Church stuff, etc. I mean, it's also a little bit silly in many ways, because, like, nobody really thinks they're doing bad things, right? Like, that's the thing about quote-unquote villains or bad guys. Like, everybody thinks, on some level at least, that they're doing the right thing or good things, or at least they're justifying their bad actions to make them think they're doing right or good things. So, it's kind of useless to think, oh yeah, I do good things, and thus I'm gonna have a good life or whatever. So, like, I don't know. But yeah, it's overthinking it, which is kind of the contradiction to superstition anyway, so it's not really worth elaborating on too much. But yeah, I don't think I'm a very superstitious person outside of that. Like, I don't believe in, oh, fucking, I stepped on a crack, so now I'm gonna have bad luck, or oh, it's Friday the 13th, so now it's gonna be a shit day, or whatever. Like, I don't think at least I can't come up with any that I believe in, not even a little bit. I wanted to open the upstairs one first because I think that's a dead end and we get a gesture that actually becomes relevant later. Yeah, at worst I think people, when they do something that they will accept or understand as maybe not great, that they will justify that for themselves. Like, in this instance, like, I didn't have a choice, or I really just wanted it in this, like, it was an exception, I usually wouldn't do that, this isn't who I am, or whatever, so, like, I don't know, it's kind of Anyway, so speaking of the stuff that has to do with the space alien bullshit and the cosmic horror stuff, I completely forgot about this. This is definitely a reference to, like, space alien cosmic stuff. This is the make contact gesture, which is fantastic. We actually need that at some point, so let's quickly slap this on here. Aha! So, from what I remember reading about this, I didn't know this before playing the game, so I actually had to learn about that, which is kind of fun, video games teaching you things. But yeah, so the idea with this gesture is that this is the make contact gesture in case we ever meet aliens or whatever, for the purpose of, like, we obviously, or we likely won't be able to speak to them, because, like, language is difficult, and, like, maybe they communicate in completely different ways or whatever, but the purpose of this gesture would be to highlight the 90-degree angle by creating a sort of 90-degree angle with your arms. The 90-degree angle being, or, like, the rectangular angle. Is that a thing in English? Anyway, like the 90-degree angle highlighting, hey, we have learned about geometry and, like, this is the basics of, like, math and architecture and whatever, like, as a, hey, we are intelligent creatures sort of gesture, highlighting the foundation of that, and then we switch arms, which is fun. It's just right angle? Alright, cool. So that very much, especially like on a place like this, facing the sky, kind of out in the open, that is definitely a reference to like cosmic horror stuff, and I completely was talking out of my ass earlier with there not being very many references to that. That's still not plenty of references, but this is definitely one of them, and I completely forgot about them. You can't quite do YMCA. I mean, on some level you can see the 90-degree angle being like, hey, if you just stop that in the middle, I guess that's the Y. But like the other ones you're probably going to be suffering a little bit with. Right angle. Then you end up telling the aliens that the soup is at the garden gate. Huh. Then you'll be tossed into the alien loony bin immediately. Like, wait, we discovered this new species, but they talk absolute shit. Alright, let's into the bin with them. Alright, Johnny? Alright, let's go down and move on then. So we found the Orphanage Key earlier. I didn't read that description. Let's quickly look at that, because that name is not just like a haha fun little name. Let's call it the Orphanage, because why not? Key to the Orphanage, birthplace of the choir. The Orphanage, shadowed by the Grand Cathedral, was a place of scholarship and experimentation, where young orphans became potent, unseen thinkers for the Healing Church. The choir, that would later split from the Healing Church, was a creation of the Orphanage. Hey, I got my timeline mixed up, so they founded their church together, and then there was the schism. Yeah, it's just the friend van in a costume to see how you would react. Like, they put on a show just for you to see if you're a loony, and then off you go to the bin. Although I don't think they'd need to come up with such an elaborate sort of ruse. Yeah, exactly. We have plenty of stuff that we do on a day-to-day basis that identifies us as deviants, so not sure they need to put on a good show for that. Friend van is gonna be plenty busy. Is that a lake over there? I don't think I get to see that from here. No. Oh. Interesting. The circle is right below the make contact circle. I mean, we can try doing it here. Maybe we get something from that. I don't think so. I think there's only one place where you get something from it. But yeah, right above us, like up one floor higher, is where the other guy at the corpse stood, where we got the gesture from. Maybe you do actually get something here. No, I'm trying to remember. I only know of one, like I know of one place definitely where you have to use the gesture, but that's gonna come up later, if we got that far today. Hey, here's more weird spore maids, mushroom maids, aliens. Yeah, gotta make contact anywhere. If only you could walk while doing that, like you can... Like as soon as you start moving, he puts his arms away. Maybe slightly, nope. Just every window, like, hello, is someone there? Ta-da! I Not quite. This is Toad after saying oog a lot, so he's no longer part of the Mario franchise. I thought you'd already correctly identified the lore behind this game, that this is what happens to oog sayers, or if the world starts saying oog too much. So I think you should have known that, but alas. Anyway, so here's the boss. I think it's right here. Yeah, down there it is. This is a weird boss. I don't know how I'd best handle that, so I'll just wing it. No, oog. Like oog oog, like monkeys, I should say, do. And I deliberately say monkeys over apes to upset a certain species of player of various video games on another Twitch channel. Pretty flowers. None of them blossomed. Or are they blossomed actually? No, they're bulbs? I don't know. Anyway, let's go down and start the fight. So this is the Celestial Emissary fight. We get a bunch of these aliens, and eventually there's gonna be a big alien as well. Maybe one of them is already the big alien. I don't like the special one. One of them is already the big alien. Yes, Brain, that is certainly how you describe that adequately. So these are mostly annoying, rather than actually dangerous. Oh yeah, it's the one that doesn't have a health bar to target him, that makes sense. So he becomes the big alien now. So now he is moderately dangerous. I think that attack we don't want to get hit by, but he's flailing so much, at least not be stuck on room. That's true, but at least on some level, some of the other bosses are fairly normal, right? Like, oh, here's this weird monster that's basically like, I don't know, some sort of werewolf man thingy that attacks you. Like, Bloodletting Beast looks like a quote-unquote normal monster that might just try to flail and slap you with its arms and eat you or whatever. Okay, you got me. Most bosses are already kind of weird. Oh, we didn't get to see the magic stuff. Anyway, like he sprouts tentacles, which is also very normal, and then starts casting magic, which also is very normal. Basically this fight is like most of these horde sort of fights in Souls games. If you just kind of control the fight from the get-go and try to keep things, like, don't let it go out of hand, then the fight is usually fairly easy, and it, like, I don't know, I've never really struggled with this fight. It's, like, most people consider it one of the easiest ones, I think. There is, however, another room behind this window that we can access, and we will possibly do that. I'm not entirely sure if we want to do that just yet. Yeah, fuck it, let's try it. So there's this meme about Dark Souls where, like, you can leave these predetermined messages, or not entirely predetermined, but like from various predetermined bits, you can leave messages in various areas. And one of the predetermined thingies is like, the real blah 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 begins, or whatever. And so one of the messages people like to leave is the real Dark Souls starts here or begins now, or whatever the fuck. And this is where this message will be very appropriate, because that fight was a bit of a joke. It's not very serious, not very hard, but the boss that comes after this, that is in that bonus room there, that is where the real Bloodborne begins, basically. I'm tempted to just hard invest all into blood vials, because we'll probably use them. Anyway, let's quickly check through here if we find anything new, since we have one, maybe two? No, I think just one new badge anyway, so shop should have updated with some new stuff. Oh yeah, I'm not sure I showed these off actually at the end of last stream, since we did Castle Cainhurst there. Oh, I shall hydrate, and you should too. So we got the, what's it even called? Maybe I didn't even read it out. Maybe I did. The Cainhurst Badge. Badge of Royal Vanguards of Cainhurst loyal Guardians of the Vile Blood Queen Annalise. The Vile Bloods are hunters of blood and hunt prey as they search for blood dregs. The hunter who joins them is faced with a decision to merely borrow their strength or to become one of them heart and soul. I did actually read that out. But it allows us to buy new items, as always, and one of them, or two of them, should be right here. We have the Reiterpallasch, we picked that up the other day in the building, so we don't need to buy it. Combines an elegant knight's sword with a peculiar firearm wielded by the Cainhurst Order. The old nobles, long-time imbibers of blood, are no strangers to the sanguine plague, and the disposal of beasts was a discreet task left to their servants, or knights, as they were called for the sake of appearances. And then we have the Chikage, which is a katana, basically. Foreign-made weapon wielded by the royal guards who protect Annalise, Queen of the Vile Bloods at Cainhurst Castle. When the intricate, rippled engraving that spans the Chikage's blade is imbrued... Imbrued is the word? Goddamn. Is imbrued with blood, the sword sings in scarlet hues. However, the rite eats away at the wielder's very essence. It's basically, as always, a big old dex weapon. This has a fun twist, though. If you use the transform attack, you enter some sort of blood stance, if you will, where you coat the weapon in blood at the cost of your own life, and your life starts very rapidly just draining the entire time. And instead of doing physical damage, you then do blood damage, and your attack scales with your blood tinge skill rather than your dexterity skill. It's pretty cool. I'm usually not that big a fan of the katanas in the Souls games, which may be sacrilege to some, but Chikage is very fun to play. I enjoyed that quite a bit. The transformation attack looks pretty cool because you kind of like sheath it and then pull it out with like blood splatters, and it looks quite fun. Also the like, hey, you have a lot of power but your health drains is always a fun little like, I guess, trade-off interaction. We did pick up the boom hammer earlier. I don't see any other new weapons in here. Maybe I'm just missing one? Don't think so. Alright, we also have the Evelyn. We looked at that in the stream last time, because we found one in Cainhurst Castle. Oh, did we have Rosemarinus already? Maybe that one is sort of new. A special weapon used by the choir, high-ranking members of the Healing Church. Sprays a cloud of scarlet, sacred mist, created by using blood imbued... so many whatever. Let's try this again. Sprays a cloud of sacred mist, created by using blood-imbued quicksilver bullets as a special medium. Arias are heard whenever sacred mist is sewn, proving that the mist is a heavenly blessing. O fair maiden, why is it that you weep? Basically, this is like the flame sprayer. The flame sprayer spews fire, it's like a little flamethrower thing, but instead of doing fire damage, this one does arcane damage, so it's kind of basically the same. They both scale with arcane, so if you're using an arcane build, you can kind of select whichever is more applicable to the boss you're fighting. Maybe. Could be. Yes, it is very similar. It's not like the boss that you're referring to, which we'll not talk about too much because that's spoilers. Like, that boss uses a different set of weapons. It's not her loadout, so it's a different weapon, but the concept of like coating that thing in blood and using the blood to attack in that regard is basically the same, which is also like her being directly linked to the Vile Bloods as a result. Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's effectively just good old tear gas. Good shot. Nice. Oh yeah, we get the Cainhurst Hunter set, or Knight, or whatever. Anything else? Nope, I think that's it. How are we doing in terms of levels? Good old tear gas. I must approve. I don't think we desperately need more stats right now. Maybe we'll just invest in something fun. Let's buy the Crow Feather set, just to make a man happy that isn't even here and watching today. At least not for now. At least from what I can tell, since he hasn't asked up yet. Anything else we want to buy? Let's just buy a bunch of blood vials to not have to worry about those for a bit. Right, let's put on the old Crow Feather garb then. Oh, I haven't shown off the choir set visually, let's put that on first. So this is the choir set. Has the blindfold mask that we found earlier. Looks a bit weird, not gonna lie, but the rest of the set looks quite nice. I like the black and white sort of color scheme. Little adornment here. The bow and everything. Has a little bell on it, doesn't it? Huh. Was that like an incense burner, maybe? It's not really a bell. Neat. I've never paid that much attention to this set. A lot of detail. Also the little stitchings on the shawl and everything. I hope I'm using all of these words correctly, because this is where I'm edging on the old English skills. Huh. This actually looks quite alright. Sensor, yes, that's a good word. Type of. Yeah, it looks like one. You are correct, I would say. Crow feather barb. Oops, that is not what we want. We want this. So this is the crow feather set. This is what Eileen used. We have successfully concluded, I think, her questline last stream. I almost said yesterday, which would have been a 2-week lie, so let's not say yesterday, and instead just say last stream, because that's nice and indefinite. This also looks quite nice. I always like the, I think a lot of people actually do, the old visual style of old plague doctors, with the beak mask and everything. That always has a lot of good old fanciness. Yesterday for the character, yeah, they were asleep, they were dreaming. Maybe we were dreaming all along. Maybe we're having a collective dream right now, which is why the character gets to act again and fuck around and kill shit. What a fantastic and fun dream. Anyway, so I deliberately wanted to expend all of my souls here before going back, because this is where we die. Where do we have... Oh, is it in here as well? Oh yeah, this is a very... Lumiflower Gardens, there it is. This is a very full gravestone, goodness gracious. Yeah, like I was alluding to earlier, this is where the real Bloodborne begins. This is where we fight a very annoying boss. I usually struggle with this one quite a bit. We don't have a +10 weapon yet, I think we're only at +9. So if we lose a bunch of times, then you know that's what I'm going to be blaming. Yeah, it's only +9. So we're clearly heavily underpowered. Like, any sort of loss that's gonna come up is definitely just because of a lack of gear, honestly. Like, totally not because the boss is hard and I'm bad or anything. It's entirely just due to me not having the stuff. We do, however, get a Call Beyond, which is one of those fancy arcane items. I think we even picked up another one that I didn't mention, didn't we? No, I think we did all of this. Anyway, a Call Beyond, one of the secret rites of the choir. Long ago, the Healing Church used phantasms to reach a lofty plane of existence, but failed to make contact with the outer reaches of the cosmos. The rite failed to achieve its intended purpose, but instead created a small exploding star, now a powerful part of the choir's arsenal. At times, failure is the mother of invention. That is probably a very true sentence, that last one right there. It's not used in a very fun way here, because we have basically the strongest spell in the game on paper. It needs 40 arcane to even be used, but arcane is a weird stat in that you want a shit ton of arcane if you're ever going to use an arcane build, so you probably want like 60 plus before this actually starts dealing really good damage. At least from what I remember. It uses 7 Quicksilver bullets, so you can only use it a few times per go. I mean, hey, that's one way of healing. Your cough has gone away, so has your body, but I mean, the cough's gone, so success. I don't know, how, like, timeline-wise, I'm not entirely sure, or, like, cause and effect-wise, I'm not entirely sure how that sort of fits in, but yeah, it's definitely another reference to the cosmic stuff. At least that one makes more sense. The necromancer thing you're saying. That definitely fits quite well. Oh yeah, right, you're here. Nice dodge. You can just swipe at them until they die. I was rambling about something, and now my train of thought is gone, so it's probably nothing too important. Yeah, Call Beyond. It's the spell that we got hit by, I think, in Bergenworth, where we fought that NPC that created that little explosion on his head, and then a bunch of, like, seeking projectiles, white glowy ones, exploded from him and shot us, and, well, killed us in one attack, basically. So we have more of these guys, more babbies. He's an NPC hunter to summon, Damien of Menses. Possibly a good man, who knows. But we could summon him for this boss. This is one of the harder ones, so we'll see how this goes. The Altar of Despair, aptly named. I'm gonna probably need a few tries to just learn the moveset again. I remember her having some weird charge attack that's really difficult to deal with. I think you have to dodge it late or some shit. That's what my instincts tell me. Oh, right. We get the first opening for free the first time we fight her. Or it, them. I think it's a her, if I remember my lore correctly. You look a bit weird, not that I'm judging. Anyway, this is the Altar of Despair, and on that is what looks a lot like, what's her face? The boss that was in the lake. How can I forget that boss's name? Rom. Vacuous Rom, there we go. This looks a lot like Rom, with a fucking weird multi-eyed head and the little mouth thingy. Yeah, it's the spider thing. I think this used to be a human being, which is why I think the gender thing applies, but I might be getting my lore mixed up. Like, I think Rom was supposed to be like her, and Rom was a failed experiment, or vice versa. Maybe Rom was the first step, and this is the quote-unquote successful version. I don't quite remember, but if I remember correctly, this is like a great one, like a proper one, so, this is some weird shit, basically. So here's the head. It's gonna, like, once we start the fight, we get to see it in action a little bit more. It's hard to pick out which body part, basically. If I recall correctly, hitting the head does extra damage, but is kind of harder to do. But we could start the fight at her back here. There's a few setups where if you start the fight properly with the right kind of, like, stats and buffs and whatever, you can basically win the fight for free from the get-go by dealing a shit ton of damage before the fight properly starts, because she kind of has to, like, sort of wake up and we get to wail on her for a few seconds while that's happening. And then from there, every other attempt, we don't get to do that if memory serves, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm just gonna start the fight and stop rambling. Oh fuck, right, that was the charge move. Oh, I am... No idea how to let's do that. But I didn't even get to see what that was. Makes sense. At least you're very durable. This build is kind of carrying my ass. I think it has been for most of the playthrough. Hey, we avoided the charge, nice. Oh, I think that's my best opening whenever she does that. It's what my brain immediately remembers when seeing that. Hey, nice to get the call. She knows. Not now, please. Please do more on that, I approve. God, that is a lot of damage we're doing to the head. I think if we get hit by that on the head, then we actually take frenzy, like if we get hit by her head specifically. Or the blood splatterer. Let's only take one attack here, play it safe. I'm cornering myself. It's not ideal. That looks like I don't want to be right there. Oh, she has some magic bullshit around her. Oh no. We just sprint, maybe? What? Looks like the fourth one? And the fifth one even. Never mind. Something else? But I'm late. There's a wall there. Wait. And then I got the jump thing, of course. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe the universe has plenty of daughters, and maybe she's nothing special. Have you ever thought about it that way? Like, sure, you may be a daughter of the cosmos, but or the entire universe or whatever, but maybe if there's like 18 billion of you, then you're not that fancy after all. Maybe the fucking cosmos doesn't care. Maybe I'm the special one. I mean, I just fought a daughter of the cosmos and technically almost lived a little bit. I don't know. Didn't see anyone singing my praises. Yeah, fair enough. I definitely lost that one though, so I can't talk that much shit. I thought you got more stuff here in this area, but I guess I'm misremembering. Like, I seem to remember those guys dropping something. Oh well. Well, that wasn't the first, or the worst first attempt, I should say. Like, I think our build is really carrying my ass because we have so much health that I can take a beating and not just die immediately. But yeah, now we always start the fight here in the middle of the boss room with her being up and ready, or ready-ish. Not perfectly ready, but you know. So I'm not using the locked-on camera very much because thus, without the lock-on I can sprint, and sprinting is really good to get out of dodge, obviously. The one downside in this game to doing that is that the jumping and sprinting is on the same button, so if I try to roll from sprinting, I'll instead jump like I did last round, and then I'll just fucking die, probably. Yeah, I was too close to what I thought. I really need her to do an attack that lowers her head, so I can hit her, because otherwise it's not gonna hit. Maybe that if I have balls and just dodge through her swipe, instead of trying to run away like I'm currently doing. Oh, this one's good. Yeah, I think we're doing enough damage as long as I stay alive long enough for her to do those a few times. Like, that is definitely fairly solid damage, and I get plenty of opportunities for that. It's just staying alive long enough to get enough of them. Let's try to be greedy. Nice, you got the extra 900 damage. Try to reposition. I think she's gonna do her magic bullshit here in a sec. Don't get hit by that. That's not healthy. Oh, I think that was a grab. Looked super gentle, didn't it? Like she's just gonna embrace me carefully. Alright, now we have magic fun time. Oh, I didn't recognize that, fuck. Bad spot now. Another grab attempt, but we were already basically out of range. Come on! Nice, didn't get hit. Oh fuck. Just walk away. Well, I guess we're gonna attack the frenzy. Oh, that didn't trigger. Nice. I'm surprised that that didn't actually proc despite us having 62 inside. Man, I did the fucking running into rolling and got a jump instead. Or I would have gotten a jump either way. I don't know why I went for that swing, that was pretty greedy. So it seems like if I just stay away and sprint flatways, she won't hit me with either the projectiles or any sort of... What? Alright. with either the projectiles or any sort of follow-up. I am perfect at spacing. Oh fuck, I am also right bad at dodging that. I get a heal off here? Close. Ow. I just cannot avoid this charge. Sorry, I'm not responding to chat right now. I see that you are typing things, probably interesting things, but I sadly cannot. Maybe I should not try to sprint there. I'm in a really bad spot. I'm gonna try to get behind her. Since I basically ran out of screen space to work with. Fuck. Don't grab me, Quoro. Ever since you started basically just charging and doing random swipes, my DPS have gone into the absolute toilet. Like, I basically am not hitting her at all anymore right now. Ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. I think I might be dead. I am so glad she didn't kill me there. I couldn't. I ran out of room. That last bit of the tentacle, which also like displaces me like crazy, is so hard to avoid. God damn it. Oh, this is what we call GG, I'd say. I have time to clutch. I guess she did not appreciate me and even thinking about clutching that. Oh, you haven't done that in a while. Close. Oh. The damage over time Aura killed me. Come on. Well, I don't know if you're that thing's father. Like, I think you would just be the like a son of the universe or a son of the cosmos, like most of us, or like as in like children of the cosmos or universe. So maybe she isn't that special after all. That would make more sense to me than you being the father. The double hydrate, goddamn. Not sure how you got the step part in there, but maybe, yeah. Also, I'm not entirely sure if I'm hearing this correctly, but I think there's already some sirens in the background. The van might be on its way towards you, just letting you know, to give you that 2.5 second head start. So you can prepare your zero-turn grenades. Ow. I don't remember the player name. Oh well. I'll just focus on this fight again. I kind of am a little bit annoyed that I didn't win that. I think I had an opportunity there, but once we start getting to that phase where I'm mostly just playing defensively... Oh, that guy. Right. Oh yeah, fair enough. I thought you were just being weird for the sake of being weird. I never know with you. Come on then. Please do something useful, thank you. Ooh, I actually hit the head from that. Nice. Horrible timing, horrible damage. Oh! Horrible pain. Ow. I couldn't roll because I was running, so it would have been jump. How does that still catch me? I rolled that so late. Okay, let's just focus on trying to dodge the charge then. I really need to learn that. No fancy sprinting around. Oh, nice. No, oh, there we go. We did still get the critical art. Okay, critical art like some sort of Street Fighter noob. Need to leave. How in the actual shot? Maybe I need to dodge diagonally backwards instead of just flatways. I usually like to just dodge flatways to get as much distance possible. Myself successfully. Then I accidentally dodged the fucking charge like a true champion of the people. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that move. I did. Wow, I completely forgot that existed. Oh, fuck! Okay, didn't recognize that. We're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. If I call it up, then it's true. I'm making it happen. With my own wall. Fuck your space bullshit. The Weird and the Wizened sounds like a Total Warhammer DLC. Ow. That hurt a lot. All of my body is gone. Or as the scout would say, he punched out all of my blood. Ow. Oh, it whiffed! No! Please die! Oh, thank you. Nah, I'll take third try. Great East Challenge. However you're supposed to pronounce that. GG, easy indeed. Wait, did we still have a prediction? I thought I saw that pop up earlier. Oh. Maybe I think I forgot to, do the prediction thing at the end of last stream. Your praises as promised. Oh, great hero, the soul that is cubed. He fights the cosmos and almost doesn't lose. He uses a pizza cutter and sliced up her tubes. She is now dead from the soul that is cubed. Thank you very much. That is glorious. Man, I should fight more bosses with you around. That's exactly what I like to hear. So, this is the Altar of Despair. We can actually do things here, but things is a bit of an extreme. It's exactly one thing we can do here in a second, once we do a bit of plot progression for someone else here. Maybe not in a second, maybe I'll do that later, but that is basically it for this upstairs area, I think. Yeah, I don't know how we would do that. I mean, we could add it as a quote with just the dash astral nature behind that. Although as a quote it's kind of like unfitting, since it's not like, I don't know. What could we do with that? Maybe I'll come up with something.
Welcome home. What is...
You don't have anything new to say, do you? Nope. Same as usual. So since we're being hard carried by our abundance of HP, let's increase this vitality up to 40. Seems like a great idea.
Farewell, mate.
Farewell indeed. Hey, let's have a quick look with Garman. He's having a nap in his garden. Nope. Very fine. I think for something like a clip we'd need a, let's say a heroic reenactment of the moment, like maybe with some fancy music and a narrator that actually reads it out in a way appropriate, like befitting the occasion. We have new stuff to buy here, like new material stuff. We got I should probably have a look at that as well. We got another chalice, so we can access a new area in the chalice dungeons now. We got the Great East Chalice. Did we even read the Ailing? Oh yeah, we did read that one. Let's read the Great East Chalice. A chalice that breaks the labyrinth seal. Great chalices unlock deeper reaches of the labyrinth. The Great East Chalice became the cornerstone of the choir, the elite delegation of the Healing Church. It was also the first great chalice brought back to the surface since the time of Bergenworth, and allowed the choir to have an audience with Ebritas. So they found Ebritas apparently in the chalice dungeons. I think another place somewhere, another description refers to her as the left behind Ebritas, so maybe she was just hanging out in the chalice dungeons, being left behind and forgotten by the other mates, or the other great ones or something. Alright, so what do we do next? God, my nose is so fucking itchy. I have no idea why. It's kind of interesting. I have that thing where, like, so I'm allergic to cat hair, and when I go visit my mom, for example, who has cats, coincidentally, or cat, sadly, these days, but, like, I usually have this thing where my nose starts itching, but not, like, inside or whatever, but, like, the tip of the nose, for some reason, starts feeling super itchy, like, specifically just the tip of the nose, and I'm having that exact same sensation, even though, like, I should have zero cat hair around. Like, I'm not wearing the same clothes, I don't know how that's happening. So, like, my nose is being super annoying right now. But I'll surely tank it, and then we'll move on. So, we have two, I think, main options only remaining. I guess technically the chalice dungeons are an option, but I think we should maybe go through those in a separate stream at some point, if we so desire. I think we'll focus on the main stuff for now. We could either go to the Nightmare Menses, which is towards the end of the game, or we can go into the DLC. I think we'll do... What do we do? Let's do Nightmare Menses. Let's try to finish off the base game for today, basically. Yeah, let's lay out a loose battle plan. So I think I'll generally try to go through the Nightmare Menses today, including the boss. And then we'll probably call it a stream, because that will take me, I would assume, another 2 hours or so. So that's probably that for today. And then in a separate stream we'll do, like in the next stream likely, we'll do, or start to do the DLC. That will either take me 1 or 2 streams, I'd say. And then we have a bits and bobs thing, where we go through the various stuff that's left behind. Like, we still have some NPC quest lines unfinished, and some minor side things we can do, basically. That I've been putting off. And then if we're still in the mood for more Bloodborne afterwards, maybe I'll do a stream, or multiple most likely, for going through the chalice dungeons. That sounds like a pretty good idea to me. God damn it, Nose, why? What have I done to you? Oh, what are you upset by? I've done nothing wrong, I promise. Anyway. Maybe the cosmos is angry at me slaying its daughter, so now it retaliates by making my nose exceptionally itchy. Anyway, welcome to the Nightmare Menses. This is fantastic, isn't it? Like, doesn't this already just scream, hey, welcome to a very fun place? This place is also, coincidentally, my nightmare, because this place houses the worst room in the game for me, by far, by a fucking mile. We'll get there. It's very early, so, yeah. We shall see how we deal with that once we arrive. On the plus side, though, this place looks awesome. we have this reveal. Haha, look at that shit. Oh my. That'd be awesome. I'm curious to see how long and dramatic that will end up being then. We don't have that many bosses left, but especially if you're gonna miss out on some of them, then maybe that's not gonna become too elaborate. But really, one verse was already more than enough. Or, not more than enough, it sounds dismissive, don't mean it that way, but one verse was already quite impressive. Don't you guys split into weird shit? Yeah, you guys are full of these weird leech thingies, which obviously can't be missing from a fucking nightmare. Weird snake leeches things, creatures. So getting a little Bloodstone chunk these days. We probably will be able to make another high-level weapon soon, so I should probably have an eye open for which of these I wanna do. Oh nice, good to know. I've never really gotten into writing myself. I feel like I don't really read enough for, like, I'm terribly invested in that myself, but it's always cool when people do that thing. It's like when you know someone that's like really into drawing or whatever, just the sort of doodles they just whip up out of nowhere and you're like, holy fuck, how long did that take? Oh, I just did that while, I don't know, watching a TV show or whatever, and you're like, oh fuck, goddamn. I'm not exactly a very creative person myself, sadly. So yeah, we have this fun mechanic in Nightmare Menses. So this up there, the glowing, not quite Eye of Sauron, is gonna oogle us, and as long as we're in line of sight of it, we're gonna get frenzied. We're gonna get impaled by likely illusory sort of spears and spikes and weapons, and we're gonna go insane, so that's fun. Oh yeah, fair enough. I've never read Beowulf. Like I said, I didn't really read that much, sadly. Yeah, I think I'd, like, when it comes to writing, I think I'd also do best with, like, scientific or, like, neutrally phrased stuff. I'm not, like, how do I say that? Like, not, like, prose, but rather, like, descriptive or, like, guides or whatever, like, that sort of thing. I'm usually quite happy with how I write that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's a very fun mechanic. Don't you like going insane from being in the presence of something in the background that you have no control over, really? I got bad direction on that dodge. Good miss there, good miss. We don't do a lot of damage with this untransformed version of the weapon, so change that immediately. Thank you, camera, for helping out a ton. What do you mean insta-get? It only takes 85% of your HP when the bar is full. Like, that's not insta-get. Clearly you have a lot of control over how that works and what you can do about that. With the sedatives only taking like a fucking year to drink and kicking in. Yeah, Frenzy is a bit of a fucking bullshit mechanic. At least he made noise while being insanity, so I knew he was approaching. Oh, I think if we kill them with fire, they don't actually release their leech snake thingies. Tempering damp blood gem. I should probably have a look at my blood gems at some point. Like, you don't get many good ones as random drops in the base game if you're not doing the chalice dungeons, so it's not likely that we found anything terribly exciting, but it's still worth having a look every now and then. So yeah, basically we have to break line of sight, and we have these little islands between or behind these rocks and other obstacles where we can feel somewhat safe. Oh yeah, right, these guys. God, you have a lot of HP, I didn't remember that. Sadly, I'm not arcane enough to have Flammen, so... I mean, I could technically... Oh, holy fuck. I could technically do it, but it wouldn't do much damage, because clearly, if like, to actually do harm with flames, you need to be very arcane about it. Which, I don't know how you would do that. If you can explain what that means, then you probably know more than I do already. Like, flames only hurt if the person causing the flames is really good at it, basically. Yeah, it is indeed Panzery, so we're not doing that. We are using our pizza cutter on just about anything that moves. Find a lower level eye rune, not terribly exciting since we have the max level one already. Off you go. Not me though. Thank you. I was very ready to just fall to my death there. So we have a lever that currently isn't doing anything for us because there's an elevator here that we haven't activated yet. And here's another elevator that we can't use yet because these are all for shortcuts. These is all for shortcuts, I promise. Yeah. Pyromancy is clearly an upper class hobby. You can't do that as some low level, not very arcane scrub. You can try, but the fire just won't hurt anyone. So, I guess that could be a benefit, wouldn't it? Like, imagine if you had that ability to set fire, but it doesn't hurt or harm anyone, it doesn't break anything. That'd be so cool. Like a neat party trick, like, hey, look at me, I'm so bad with fire that I can set myself on flames right here, like on fire right here. I go full blaze, and I'll be perfectly fine. Everybody's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Level some arcane, noob. Ow. I was not ready. Oh fuck, I'm about to pop. I like how he went kind of feral there, going on all fours and ready to fight for his life. It's kind of a neat touch. Like, he starts with his upright walking, I have a torch in my hand sort of bullshit, and then drops on all fours, like, oh fuck, gotta fight or flight. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like decorative fire as well. Oh boy, I have not seen Ghost Rider. Which probably, having said that, probably doesn't shock literally anyone that watches the stream, given that I tend to not have watched anything. If I remember correctly, this is a kind of cheeky place because this guy is tossing rocks at me as soon as I start moving forwards, but then when I run up to him and try to kill him, someone else over there, I think, has line of sight and starts throwing rocks at me as well. So we gotta be kinda careful of that. Or maybe that's a different spot I'm thinking of. That is not a backstab. Not sure I agree with that one. Game. That theme is honestly the best part of the game by far. The concept of a fucking old game where you have to choose between having just the music playing on loop or having sound effects and everything else but no music is still hilarious to me. Like, that's such a shame because, like I said, the theme is really fucking good, so having that just play in the background and being able to play the game normally would make it a lot more, like, bearable. Because it's not that bad of a game to begin with, but it is pretty funny. I'm gonna be sorry to disappoint you, but I don't have any sort of Christmas view ritual or whatever. Don't even have a Christmas ritual to begin with. Don't really have much family to fuck around with, and just generally spend my Christmas doing the same things I do every other day. So not much. Currently being spammed on Discord, I hope that's not audible on the microphone. Forgot to update my system volume. Ow. Lingering hitbox on those rocks. Cheaty fuck. Alright, good, thank you. Can also just quickly, now that we have killed that guy, over here. So now, no matter what happens, it shouldn't be audible anyway, because I've literally turned the sound off. That's not what I wanted to do. Oops, oh well. So this is fine, that guy's just flailing. Oh, please. I'm still burned by having played this game so much with low vitality. Like, every time I fight something like this, I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna one-shot me. If I ever get hit, I'm probably gonna explode immediately. But then it turns out, nah, I'm fine. I fight Ebritas, I get hit by the charge to the face, in instability frames, I'm alive, it's fine. I guess I just really have never invested much into vitality, or not never, but like, I just, when I first learned this game, never invested much into vitality, so just anytime I get hit with something, I expect to just explode immediately. Alright, I think that's it for the outside area. Alright, now for my least favorite room in the game, by far the worst thing to have happen in this game. So, I'm not sure if you've caught onto that yet, with the fucking eels or snake thingies coming out of those guys, and just the general weirdness with the monsters that have, like, eagles poking out of them as attacks and shit like that, but this is like phobia central. If you're afraid of snakes, well, you're not gonna be happy here. If you're afraid of like leeches and eagles and like weird body shit, you're not gonna be happy here. And of course, if you're afraid of spiders, well, welcome to this fucking room. I hate this room. Yeah, weird parasite shit. So yeah, I am not happy seeing that. Seeing this. When I first got here on my first playthrough, this is where I was like, "Oh my fucking god, I'm gonna take a break," and then I didn't play the game for an entire day before I was like, "Alright, fuck, I'm gonna tank it." So there is thankfully a cheese strat you can do here, and I am going to be using that, and I am not apologizing for it either. So what we do is we uninstall the game and never play it again, goddamn. So, not sure if you've ever heard that expression or if you've ever experienced that yourself, but you know how people say, "This is making my skin crawl"? I never understood that expression until I came across various, like, spider-related shit with my arachnophobia, because what it means is that you just start itching in various places. Like, I look at this and I'm like, oh fuck, and I start itching in various spots as though like, oh, maybe there's a critter crawling on me or some shit. Like, the term making your skin crawl is actually a thing, and this place definitely makes my fucking skin crawl. Anyway, so what we do is we go up here until they start moving. Then we fucking leg it immediately. And they can't go through that door. Or, well, the small ones can, but the big ones can't. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh fuck. Like, please, stop, there's nothing there. Brain, I promise, there's nothing there. It's alright, we're gonna be fine. Well, we'll not be fine. Anyway, so that's the small ones done. So if I had a million Molotovs, I could just sit here and toss Molotovs at it, but it has this cheaty long-range attack, which is kinda weird. Honestly, the fact that it can attack through this wall, despite being trapped there, makes it even creepier for my brain. I don't know. Something about it, like, also, like, breaking the rules makes it even worse in that regard. Like, even this, like, sort of cheesy strat is uncomfortable for me. Like, I hate this a lot. Ugh. So, funnily enough, this is not my worst gaming experience with spiders. I had a place that was way worse, actually. In, not too long ago, either. Like, I learned to tank it, though, and that was actually one of the things that made me really confront that, too. Like, I was proud of myself for dealing with it. So in Legend of Grimrock 2, there's an area that is basically a spider mine, like you're in an underground mine. That game is a first-person game, and the spiders there have the fun ability where they jump in your face to attack you. Like in some weird, very unrealistic way, they jump and throw their entire body, legs first, into your face. And it is the scariest shit I have ever seen, basically. And there's a mine full of them, and they're like all ambushy, and they come from everywhere, and they do that from every angle while you're fighting them, and that's the worst. I hate that area, but I managed to deal with it, and I'm very proud of myself for that, because that's usually the sort of thing where I'm like, yep, I'm just not playing it. But yeah, we have mostly dealt with this room now. Yeah, it is effectively like VR with spiders, although in actual VR it would of course be even worse still. I'm glad I'm not the only one unhappy with spiders here. Usually, like, I interact with people and they're like, I don't know what your problem is. I mean, yeah, they're kinda creepy, but it's not a big deal. At least you guys are with me on this, being bad. Fucking Fandango, even, like, there's Halloween cosmetic items in Team Fortress 2 where you have, like, a spider on your shoulder. It's actually, like, one of them looks actually kind of adorable. But, like, there's other ones where they're, like, hidden, or not, like, hidden, but, like, clinging to various bits of your body. And he's willingly using those, in part just because he finds them adorable, but also just to drive me insane. Like, oh, fuck. Mates, please. Have mercy. Don't make it even worse. Hey, we get some Shaman bone blades, nice, those are fun items. We get to use them in one place later, most likely. Yeah, I don't have an issue with centipedes and millipedes myself, so, like, it's not related to the legs for me at least, it's the I guess the shape, the way they move, just, something in my brain just does not like them. It's also interesting what sets it off specifically and what doesn't. Like, in some games it's pretty bad, in other games it's not too bad. In real life, sometimes I don't mind them as much, sometimes I mind them a lot. It's kind of interesting. Like, I don't really have a clear, like, rule of thumb, like, oh yeah, if it looks like this, it will be bad. If it doesn't look like this, I'll be fine, or whatever. Like, it feels kind of arbitrary when it starts upsetting me. But I guess it wouldn't really be, like, a phobia if it was, like, easily understood or made sense, in a way. Madman's knowledge. It's sort of interesting, but I think if you don't have a phobia of something, or if you haven't experienced it at least, it's probably really hard to relate to that, because as soon as you start even just slightly thinking about it logically, it doesn't make any semblance of sense, and it's thus very, very hard to relate to, like, how that feels. So, like, if you don't have a phobia of something, and you just, like, someone is like, oh my god, this is so scary, or this is unsettling me, or whatever, it's hard to relate to that if you don't have it, like, have an experience with that yourself, or other bits and bobs. Also, I love the little spider nests everywhere, these little egg sacs, or web sacs, or whatever the fuck they are. It's glorious, lovely decor. Anyway. So, the most important part for the rest of this area is that we don't die before unlocking the next shortcut. This is crucial, because if we die, we have to go through this room again, and I try not to ever go through this room more than once per playthrough. So, yeah, let's try not dying, which is gonna be a pain, because we have an NPC over there, and as we established previously, NPCs are always a pain to fight. Yeah, for me it's really mostly spiders. Like, something about them is just, I don't know. Like I said, I can't really point to any specific part that makes it weird for me, but just the, I don't know. Like, I don't mind insects in general, or like bugs in general that much. Like, not necessarily that they're nice or whatever. Like, there's definitely not necessarily something I would embrace or be like, oh yeah, this is great, but not in the sense of like, oh, I'm afraid of that. It's just like, kind of iffy. But, yeah, I know. Yeah, with heights it's also super interesting to me because like at least even if you're not afraid of heights, you would respect heights, right? Like even if you're not like, oh, I'm near a fucking or like I'm near a drop, I need to be like super paranoid about it. Like even if you're just a normal non-phobic person when it comes to that, you would think like, oh yeah, being afraid of heights makes sense because you will literally fucking die if you fall down here. So at least that one you can kind of rationalize a little bit, but like oh, thank you, crying baby. Speaking of phobias, oh fuck, hate babies. Gotta kick him. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like phobias are super fascinating, I think, in general, as a thing the human brain does, because it's so dumb. It doesn't really make much sense. Yeah, I've read about that. Like, same with like, oh, maybe I should drive into the oncoming traffic or something. Just drive into the other lane that's super busy or whatever. Like the sort of, hey, what if we just did this thing that's clearly a terrible idea and clearly self-destructive? Anyway, so let me try to focus on this fight for a second. I don't want to die here. Keep your stupid tear gas away from me, jerk! Oh, fuck! Almost overcommitted there. Weapon at risk? What is the meaning? Oh yeah, just touch that. I'm sure it feels lovely. Gotta stick my hand on that. Actually, like, speaking of durability though, I should probably inspect that before we get into trouble. We have 69 durability. I would say nice, but I think we're already losing some damage from that, don't we? Let's see what the Saw Cleaver is doing. Yeah, that's already almost the same damage. I think we should probably really switch to the other weapon then for a bit. Yeah, I don't feel it much myself, the Call of the Void thing, but I have experienced it, like I know what you're talking about. Here we have weird egg nest with legs on them, but they've apparently been like poked with something and impaled with something. I'm assuming with the, I don't know, Menses group when they came through here or something? Or by the Menses group when they came through here or something? Basically, this is the end of spiders for the rest of the game. Unless I die before unlocking the shortcut, in which case we have to tank that room again, and also unless we do the Chalice dungeons, because, of course, the Chalice dungeons have spiders, some of them, and even worse, the Chalice dungeons have bell ladies that summon infinite amounts of spiders that will track you down until you silence the bell lady, which is great, and I love that. It's one of my favorite mechanics in the game. Haha! It's very cool. I like the Chalice dungeons. Interesting. But yeah, that's what I mean about like phobias and dumb shit like that. It's so weird that the brain just does that. Like, why would it do that? What purpose does that sort of instinct have? Where does that come from? I don't know. I can't even begin to imagine where that sort of instinct comes from, or like the Call of the Void stuff, or even just phobias or whatever. Like sometimes people have experiences that trigger phobias, or like where the phobia originates from or something. Like if you I, for example, had a not very enjoyable incident with a spider when I was young, and since then I was like, oh, spider's kinda iffy, but it kind of just amplified what was already there, I would say. But like for a lot of other stuff, like where the fuck does that come from? Like what is the psychological origin for that? Like why would my brain tell me, hey, what if we throw ourselves off this cliff? Wouldn't that be fun? No, brain, that would not be fun. Let's maybe think about something else for a second. Like it's interesting whether like just why that is. Because it's kind of a weird instinct to have. Yeah, can we not have that, Artman, please? I'm glad you're not in charge of this. This sort of decision making. The whole spiders jumping onto you thing is so bad for me that it actually like annoys me when I'm playing something like Minecraft. Like the cave spiders and mine shafts, for example, when you hear them and you hear the little as they're moving around, like that should actually like not scares me or terrifies me necessarily, but makes me uncomfortable. So like even just Minecraft spiders, cartoony as they are, do that for me. And especially like the cave spiders, the little shitters that are in the fucking mine shafts where they have all these little ledges to stick onto and the little ceiling nooks, whatever the fuck, to drop onto your head from. Like, not a fan. Oh, I should probably actually go home. Let's do that. Because my weapon durability is low. We have a bunch of souls, we unlocked the... or echoes. We have unlocked the shortcut, the first one, so we have conquered Spider Town. So let's quickly go back and repair our stuff. Maybe spend some echoes. See if Gavin is sitting where I want him to sit. Probably not. He has been absolutely reluctant to do that this playthrough. I said that weirdly and I have no idea why, but here we go. Right, repair weapons. Yes. So did that actually already reduce the damage or did I make that up? It did. Oh, I didn't remember the second number. Maybe it already reduced the damage. The first number is the same, but the plus number I don't remember. Oh well, fuck it. It's not that important anyway. So do we upgrade the Saw Cleaver or do we go for something more interesting? Maybe we eventually level a second attribute aside from strength and then go for something more interesting later. So let's not do that. And then we probably want the upgrade material for whatever sort of weapon we pick. Oops. Let's get a bit more endurance actually. I think I want to go to 40 vitality and 30 endurance as my go-to, or going for those sort of stats. Whereas this is the lamp, I think, or the grave. Where goes loft base? That is where we are. Having a drink, you guys should too. Stay hydrated. That probably won't get annoying, me constantly reminding you guys to take a drink. I like how you can see the camera lagging behind as we're taking this elevator. There's something interesting about the way the camera behaves in this game compared to especially Dark Souls 1, but also a little bit Dark Souls 2. Like in the other Souls games, the camera wouldn't really get stuck behind objects very much and would immediately just like teleport like there, for example. Like it would just clip through the thing and be immediately right back on your ass. But in this game, there are some objects, especially like bosses, that's quite noticeable there, where the camera actually gets stuck and stays behind. Like, you run away from the camera, which is super weird and wouldn't really happen in the first Souls game. And similarly, you can see it on this elevator, how the camera just lags behind as you're going up because you're going up very fast and maybe there's stuff in the way for the camera or something. I don't know how it works mechanically exactly, but just in general, it's kind of interesting. So I think these guys are mostly not attacking, except for like a few exceptions here and there. Like some of them are hostile, but most of them I think we can just ignore. This guy looks mad at me. Wow, we're doing so much more damage with this Saw Cleaver, what a surprise. Not Saw Cleaver actually, Pizza Cutter. Saw Cleaver is the thing we just are not using. It's the literally opposite thing of what I was trying to talk about. God, I feel so much more comfortable and happy and safe now that spider time is over. Weird that. Oh yeah, these fat fuckers, I forgot about those. Well, I mean, if it works, that's good. I am glad to hope. I'll probably not remember to remind you always, but I'll try my best. That said, especially while streaming, I also forget to drink, like, comparatively a lot. Like I said earlier, usually I don't have an issue with not drinking enough, but while streaming I'm kinda like focusing too much on the stream and ignoring everything else for the most part. Hello. You run forward a lot. I do not approve. He died. Madman's knowledge. Oh fuck. You're hostile, how dare you? Bonk. Down you go. Anyone else hearing the call of the void and need me to assist them in any void-related activities? You may be, good sir. Down you go. Dirty, damp blood gemstone. With your shitty little crossbow. Get a gun, noob. We're in Bloodborne. All the cool kids are using guns here. I've been playing, I'm a cool kid. Ow. Ow. Please stop shooting me, gun or not. Does hurt eventually. I like that third hit in the pizza cutter chain, the little thrust. It's pretty good. To make up for it, the fourth hit sucks quite a bit. It's so slow and it does that. Like those initial small hits followed up by the big one. It's kinda interesting, but not terribly useful. Can we go by here? We can. Neat. Lead elixirs, probably not using those. Oh yeah, I can probably turn on the lantern. I think it's off, isn't it? Oh yeah, nice. We can see! We can fight! Right, let's quickly double check this area. I don't want to miss things. I don't think there's anything interesting lying around, but I like to clear things out thoroughly. Even if it takes me a minute extra of running around through an area that I have quote-unquote already combed through. Combed through, whatever. Languages are so weird. I'm mostly fairly confident in whatever I say in English these days, like I don't really think about it too much, I just say whatever comes to mind. But sometimes, especially at the end of a sentence, I'm like, wait, did I say that correctly? Isn't that pronounced differently? It was just weird self-doubt in various words that aren't even like I'm not like worried that I'm getting them wrong or whatever, it's just like, huh, that sounded kinda weird, maybe I should say that differently. Let's send you back down as well. So, that's actually a pretty good habit. I don't know why I'm talking about it right now, but here we are. It's actually a pretty good habit for Souls games to send elevators back down after you use them. With one minor exception. So the minor exception first is that if you actually start a fight in this room, then suddenly the elevator isn't here, so you can fall to your death, which is unfortunate. But usually that doesn't happen, and the main advantage is that if you send the elevator back down, then if you die and have to come back here, you don't have to wait for the elevator, you can just take the elevator immediately. So like instead of having to flip the lever, wait for the elevator to arrive, then ride the elevator up and continue, you can just after a death come here, immediately take the elevator, send it back down optimally, and then go on again. And you kind of save yourself some time. The reason this is even... it sounds like a super minor thing, but it's actually sort of meaningful, because often, especially if you keep dying multiple times in a row, you have that extra frustration of sitting there and waiting for an elevator. So imagine you're already upset and annoyed at something, and then you're asked to wait in line, or wait for an elevator, or wait in a phone call, or something like, oh yeah, just put you on hold for a second, and you're just sitting there like, I want to just kill people, and you just can't. So, sending the elevator back down, good strat, would recommend. Speaking of elevators. And speaking of weird nightmare stuff, I'm assuming this is also something some people find very unsettling, is this weird dog-bird fusion creation hybrid thingy that they've created in here. I have no idea, lore-wise, why or what they are, or why they were created, but hey, can't be missing in our fucking Nightmare Menses fucking phobia fiesta. Just gotta be in here, of course. I think they're also sort of dangerous, like I think especially the these ones here actually do pretty good damage. I guess they function like most dogs do, and dogs are always kind of annoying in Souls games, so. Yeah, I also don't mind them, I think they're pretty funny, but I have read from some people that they find this area, or this part of the area, like particularly creepy, the weird kind of maybe science or animal experiments gone wrong sort of vibe. Nightmare Menses. Very fine. Ow. They don't bring the dead to life, they bring your nightmares to life. Exactly what you want. I didn't get in there. That's so rude. I felt like I did that correctly, but it just didn't let me in. Maybe I don't jump. Maybe I just roll. Yeah, I just roll. Okay. He jumps to— oh, the thing dropped something. I have to jump in there again now. Don't mind me, obsessively picking up all the items. A single pebble. Worth. Just for the peace of mind. Totally worth. Don't mind me. Some more dog crows. Crow dogs. Crows. I don't know. It's probably an elegant way of saying that. So I have not found it. Shut up, baby. I guess the one upside of dealing with Nightmare Town is that this place has a lot of high-level materials and shit. Like, you get a bunch of these bloodstone chunks, which are the higher-level upgrade material. You get the high-level blood echo stuff. There's gonna be an area upstairs coming up that is pretty good for farming more souls in general, so it's a bunch of good stuff here in theory. Might be worth the bullshit. Alright, so here we have another shortcut. Go in here. Thank you, Cape Physics. I like to think my character's pretending they're flying, like, wee, I have my feathers, off I go. Actually, they were falling down, never mind, talking shit. Anyway, I was just using that to unlock the shortcut. You have to activate it once, so the, like, you have to ride it once so that the levers become active and you can call them up or down. This also brings us right back down to the bonfire, and as you can already tell, there's gonna be a second elevator here, but we can't use it yet until we go through that place, which is coming up, and I think that's our next boss, if I remember correctly. I think it's right here, right now. Do you have anything to say in preparation for this boss? I mean, this is kind of an interesting place to look at. Like, it has that sort of cathedral vibe, maybe mixed in with the scholar stuff from Bergenworth, but there's also, like, infinite abysses, as one has in Nightmare stuff, so, you know. Oh boy, good luck on phone call. Don't die. Phone calls are dangerous. Oh yeah, right. Skeletons. Or puppets, rather. They're these marionettes. They disappear. I'm sure that's a good thing. Is there something back here? I just walked this way on a whim. I didn't even remember you could go this way. Oh, right, you move this bridge later, so this allows you to go back. Nice. Interesting. I don't think I've ever had to use this. Right, well. Anyway. This is a pretty popular boss, and a pretty, like, meme-worthy, meme-y boss. Let me think if I want to do something special here. If I have to equip something. Oh, we didn't talk about the Shaman Bone Blades when we picked them up because we were in Spider Town. So, Shaman Bone Blade, a blade of bone coated with gruesome spinal fluid, used by old labyrinth watchers, in particular those presiding over rituals. When a victim is cut by this blade, the green spinal fluid temporarily numbs the senses, disturbing the target's gross motor skills. Gross motor skills? Is that how you would say that? Huh. The blade, never intended for battle, must cut deep to be effective and breaks. I'm not sure if the description is in any way, shape, or form useful here. Basically, it makes people frenzy. So if there's like 2 enemies and you hit one of them with it, it will start attacking its friend instead of just attacking you. There's not many areas where it's useful, but there is one where you can use it to great effect, and we'll try to do that. I'll try to remember using them when we get there. It's gonna be a while though, not this stream, so I'll probably forget, but we'll see.
Cause. Or some say cosm. Do you hear our prayers? No, we shall not abandon the dream. No one can catch us. No one can stop us now.
He seems sane. So here we have Mikolaj, the host of the Nightmare. If you remember, probably not, but after we defeated the One Reborn, we went to that little church-ish room with a bunch of dead people sitting on chairs. One of them had this big old cage on his head, kind of like this one. They were like sleeping or dreaming together or whatever, and since he is titled the host of the Nightmare, I would assume that the big man, like the one with the bigger cage on him, was him specifically. Mikolaj himself. So he's kind of an annoying boss. He has a gimmick fight. He runs around through this area, basically. Like you have to chase him through this sort of labyrinthian place. The idea being you ideally want to corner him, and then you get to slap him with it, and hopefully don't get one-shot by a call beyond. These guys just survive, which is kind of unfortunate. Right, so I think he should be in front of the room. I think he's down there now, yep. So if we approach from this side, he now flees into that room, and in that room we can fight him for a bit. There's no time limit to this fight though, so as long as you just keep your calm and take it slow, fight the enemies as they spawn, you should be fine. Like even if you can't fight him or can't find him, or if you can't figure out where you are, just take it slow and you will generally be fine. If you corner him, shut up. If you do corner him, then you have to fight him for a bit. He has a few tricks up his sleeve. He usually just punches you, but he has 2 spells. One being the weird phantasm spell that we saw earlier when we were in Bergenworth, I think. And he has that A Call Beyond spell, which is the weird star explosion with homing projectiles. Call Beyond likes to one-shot you in awkward ways, so that's gonna be a pain in the ass, because then you have to restart the fight. And the other spell can be annoying because it can parry you, so if he catches you at an awkward moment with that, you might also just explode. But outside of that, he's kind of a wimp, and you're supposed to just wail on him. Yeah, I really like the soundtrack personally, so I don't mind the Bard going ham, but his voice lines do repeat after a while and become annoying. They do give a good image of him though. He was trying to cast the spell there, but we slapped him in time, so it's good. Okay, let's just focus on these guys first and take them down. It's kind of unfortunate that they have exactly like 1 HP after we hit them twice, so that cost us a bunch of extra stamina. As long as I don't overplay my hand, we should be fine.
Majestic! A hunter is a hunter, even in a dream. But alas, not too fast. The nightmare swirls and churns unending.
So now this door is open and the rest of the arena is open. This place is pretty big. There's a downstairs area coming up and there's an upstairs area coming up, so we get to explore a lot. I think we go downstairs first, maybe? I don't know, my brain tells me I want to go here. Maybe for this nightmare. In a nightmare, or in a dream, in general, I should say, anything is possible, Ord. Oh yeah, so the downside is, I can't pick up items, because the item pickup button is also the skip dialogue button, so I'll have to skip through this dialogue to loot here. But we'll hear those lines a few more times, so it's not too big of a deal. He just talks about wanting eyes. And, I mean, on some level, I can't blame him. Eyes are pretty alright. I feel like I'm fine with my 2 eyes, to be fair, but just in general, I can't blame the guy for trying to have some eyes. So that's the level 2 moon room, that gives us I think 20% extra blood echoes from any source. We're currently using the level 1-1. We will get the level 3 version soon though, so it's not that important to have. Alright, branching path, where do we go? Let's go here first, I know. Oh no, wait, that's where we came from. Nightmare Menses is not actually a branching path. We just backtracked to the initial split where we went downstairs. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds like some awkward amount of bureaucracy coming up. There you are, you little shit. So there's a route that you can take to finish this fight fairly quickly. Like if you know what you're doing, you can catch him off guard in various places, and there's even a trick to lock him out of his last arena and just kill him sooner, like kill him early. But I'll just wing it and just explore normally, basically. So he has a new trick now in this stage of the fight. And that is that he will run into mirrors occasionally and disappear and appear elsewhere. Isn't this... I don't remember if I want to jump down here on him. Oh well, we'll just explore and take it as it comes. Oh nice, yeah, sometimes it really helps to be early on ship like that. Just to make sure everything works out. I say that, having forgotten to do a thing that I was supposed to do a month ago and having to sort that out today. Also with a phone call. I think we jump in here later. I think we first follow him where he is, and then he runs around a bit, and then we follow him through there, maybe. I don't quite remember. But yeah, let's just jump on him and see what happens. Oh yeah, right, so what happens is he closes this door, doesn't he? Yeah, okay, so we have to take that little plunge that we just looked at to access the arena with him. That's how that works. He was doing the full line there and they didn't want to interrupt that. We get the iron door key. I don't remember what that's for. I think that's coming up. Maybe you need that to finish the area or something. But it's not for the fight itself, if I remember correctly. Oh, I see.
Oh, of course.
They're probably also used to that sort of stuff then, so it's not a big deal. I think it's the distinct lack of sanity in the man that makes him howl. I can't quite relate though, so maybe I just misunderstood. He's howling for other reasons. Maybe he's howling at the moon. Wouldn't that be some sort of interesting plot twist? Given that the moon is also very special and meaningful in this game, that would be kind of funny. Oh yeah, he's just howling at the moon, like Aru, sitting outside like a dog.
Feverishly, chatting into the wee hours of new ideas of the higher plane.
Alright, let's go. Wee! Out. Ooh, he almost had me there. Don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. Okay. Mate, please! Oh, nice, we dodged it. Alright, cool.
Oh, now I'm waking up. I'll forget everything.
So interesting things he says there at the end of the fight. This is dying words, basically. First of all, I don't think he actually gets to wake up, given the state of the people that were there in the Menses ritual. Like with the one reborn and what is likely a flood of blood washing through the streets, and him being a rotten corpse and everything. I don't think there's much waking up to be done for the poor man. But also the idea that, like, anything they learn in this sort of dream world, that they will forget upon waking up, so that you know more asleep than you do awake, and, like, all sorts of shit there. There's probably some interesting connotations there about the lore and the way the world works and this insanity stuff. Like the eyes on the inside and stuff. Maybe you have insight while you're asleep or some shit. Who knows? And also the fact that he's fully aware that he's in a dream, like he's not upset that he's dying, but rather he's upset that he's gonna wake up and forget the beautiful stuff that he's learned in this absolute nightmare of a place. Like, I don't know, it's a bunch of interesting stuff by the weird-ass guy, good old Mikolaj. Anyway, we go home. From one dream into another. As one do. Hello. Goodbye. I remember hearing that the whole inside.
Oh, Lawrence, what's taking you so long? I've grown too old for this. Of little use now, I'm afraid.
Oh, rare dialogue, goddamn.
Oh, Lawrence, what's taking you so long? I've grown too old for this. Of little use now, I'm afraid.
Neat. Some more world building about him and Lawrence fucking around in the past. Apparently Lawrence is supposed to do something that he's just waiting for. Maybe. The hero, he fights insanity's might, and men whose heads are caged. He crushes their box as swift as a fox, the cubed soul who's not a mage. Fancy, very nice. Not a mage indeed we are, using the pizza cutter. Very fine. Crushes their box as swift as a fox. Neat. Good shit, good shit. Well, I better kill as many bosses as possible while you're still here, so guess we'll not worry too much about runes and just move on. Quickly repair the items, spend the souls, and go next.
Well, what is it? Very well.
Channel blood echoes. Let's head towards 40 like I said. My nose has stopped being itchy and now my nose is starting to be stuffy instead. Thank you, body, for being so incredibly useful. Do appreciate that. Maybe some drugs will help. Reminder to hydrate. As I'm currently doing. Okay, that wasn't what I expected. I thought the baby was gonna cry again, and then the fucking crow dog is like, oh, fuck you. Starting to reach the upstairs area of the Murgo's loft, as it was called. Interesting thought, though, is that he thought he was the host of the Nightmare, and he's labeled as such by the game, but despite him dying and apparently being thus rejected from the Nightmare is still here, it's still going. Maybe the Nightmare doesn't... Like, either he's not actually hosting the Nightmare and he's just mistaken, or it's like a collective thing and there's still people around that are taking part in it and keeping it active, or it's just a plane of existence that is now created and... There you are, baby, shut up. Like, maybe just once the plane of existence, through the dreaming or whatever, has been created, it's not gonna be just disappearing. Just because the original host got removed violently or otherwise. I think this is the shortcut elevator back now. Hey, this one doesn't close. Nice. Give me a sec to inject some nasal spray directly into my nasal holes. Oh. Maybe that helps. Fuck. Alright, so here's the other elevator, so we have now completed the shortcut. There is, however, a thing we can do if you have been paying attention while we were on the elevator, and if you have noticed that the door didn't close because it's broken, then you might put two and two together and notice that there's a jump-off spot here, like a thing where we can roll off and die, tragically. Right here. Aha. Now you might say, but Cube, you didn't die. What are you talking about? Why are you so self-deprecating? You didn't die yet. Stop talking shit. But then I say, you haven't seen what we're about to fight yet. We are about to fight the guys that make you died, whether you want to or not. We also find an inflicted organ. Neat. Let's have a look at that. Don't think we've seen one of those yet. Special body parts collected by the Healing Church. What was this gruesome bait used to lure? The additional rotted offering beckons ungodly forces, normally terrifying things, but also worthy prey for a special hunt. I'm not sure what body part that is supposed to be, or like what organ or whatever, rather. Ugh. Yeah, something like that is probably also what's going on here. So we're gonna fight some Winter Lanterns again. Hello. Oh please! Oh, we got the parry just in time and didn't take the frenzy damage. Very nice. Alright, now you die. And then I'll go pop from the frenzy. Ow. So yeah, Winter Lanterns, haha, this is where we die. I did not talk shit, we're probably gonna die here. We gotta fight 3 of them in a row, I think. They do, however... Oh, I thought we were gonna get a cool drop as I'm talking about it. But yeah, they do, however, drop blood gems, and they can drop some pretty decent ones for the base game, so if you are insane, probably literally, then you can farm these for some pretty decent blood gems. They also drop a decent amount of blood echoes themselves, if I remember correctly, but you probably have other ways of farming them, if you are so inclined. Ways that don't involve dances with death every time. Oh, I almost mistimed that. Oh, we're gonna get the frenzy explosion now. Yep, it's too early. Cursed Tempering Damp Blood Gemstone. These names are getting out of hand. Let's check out the stats. Can we not? This button. We have physical attack up 19%, but weapon durability down. Durability down is not that big of a deal, but 19% extra physical damage is fantastic, so that's probably one of the good gems that you could farm here. There are various downsides these kind of gems can have, like weapon durability, one of them. There's also like various attack types down and shit like that. But in return, you usually get like extra damage or whatever, so like these good gems have like more damage but less something else to make up for them. Yeah, it's not... I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's not that bad, because I'm probably about to die. The moment I utter those words, the next one will guaranteed kill me. But I don't think it's that horrible. Like, you can create a strategy to kind of reliably deal with them. Like, this right there, for example, is the... I still had to drink a sedative because I wanted to play it safe, but like, that's not awful. It's just that if you fuck up, you're probably dead. So like, the punishment is ridiculously high if you ever slightly mess up. So I get that. Like, I'm not gonna defend them or their design. I think they're pretty bad as well, but I don't know. That said, I don't mind the fact that they're unfair. Like, having the occasional bullshit enemy in a game like this is fine, in my opinion. So, I said we were mostly done with, or we were completely done with Spider Town. I lied. There are some more spiders here, but these ones, funnily enough, even with just a slight little change, I don't mind as much. Because these have weird faces on them. This also being most likely where Patches came from, like Patches the spider, luring us into that, like, haha, you drop down no place. So, I don't know what weird-ass experiment or craziness created these nightmare fuel creatures, but something did. And we're killing them, as hunters do. Alright, I think that is now the end of Spider Time. That might be like 1 or 2 more, maybe, who knows. I don't know, clearly. Also, hydrate! Anyway, so we have to do a thing here, which is kind of awkward. I think there's gonna be another Winter Lantern or something here. A little bit, yeah. I can kind of see that. That's quite the comparison to make, though. Like, you have the true Nightmare Fuel bullshit creatures, and then you have the Counter-Strike big head mod. That's pretty funny. Alright, so over there we see some crazy weird shit. Like some sort of weird eyeball big man monstrosity sitting in this tower, and I think this is where the glow came from when we were like outside of the building and got frenzied from a distance. That is roughly the place where this thing would reside, I think. So let's flip this lever and I'm sure something good will happen. operate device, as the game calls it. And lo, the frenzy nightmare bullshit has been dealt with. So now we could explore the outside area without getting frenzied. Sadly, we've already explored the outside area, so it's not really much of a benefit of doing that, but maybe that was not the only thing that did. Yeah, we just flushed that shit down the drain with the brain, as they say. I should make a song about that. Yeah, lever pulling is always a positive and happy experience. Nothing bad could happen. Where are you? Behind me? Other side? Other side. Okay, cool. There are actually more spiders. Fuck, I was wrong. You'd think someone like me would know exactly where all the spiders are in this game, but I guess I'm a fucking idiot. To be fair, it really has been a while. Alright. Como at me. I don't think I was on time. Let's try. If we can cheese that. I don't want to go all this way again. Because I'm lazy. So what you can do in this game, and in other Souls games as well, if you're getting grabbed by something and you exit the game and load back into the game, you reset the situation. So there's a chance that we didn't die just yet, but there's also a chance that we just loaded back in and die immediately. Nope, we died. Weird creepy mouths below that thing as well. Yeah, maybe I blocked it out of my mind, but I'm the kind of guy that plays these games multiple times, so blocking it would be a really bad idea, because then I'd have to re-experience it for the first time every time. So I think it's more likely that I simply forgot over the years. Like, I would prefer knowing where they are and what's coming up, so I can deal with it. That's it, that's not something one has always perfect control over. Alright, time to go through the frenzy bullshit again. That room after that drop down is always a pain in the ass, because even if you know what's coming and know where the Winter Lantern is, you still have to cross the beam to get there, and you're gonna get frenzied in the process, and then you have to, well, with my strategy anyway, have to parry immediately and try to tank it and blah blah, so... Are you kidding me? I think I did it in time this time. I'm not doing that because I just can't accept dying, but as like, I don't want to run all the way back here again. We'll have to wait for the elevator as well because I didn't send it back up. God damn it! I'm too slow at quitting these days. Big bad, didn't forget, but following bads are minor and forgettable by comparison. Sorry, I'm either having a stroke or I can't make sense of that sentence. I'm probably just reading it wrong. Like, I don't know what you're trying to say, Sus. Stupid baby, stop crying every time I get here. It's like insult to injury, like, oh, you died, made the baby sad again. Who doesn't like waiting for elevators? Isn't this fun? This is exactly what I was talking about, where you should, if possible, always send elevators back up when you use them in Souls games. Because you die, you get annoyed, and then you have to wait for elevator. This is the last thing you want to do in that moment. Patience is not a thing. I rolled too early, now I'm dead again. See, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's almost like I have experience with that sort of thing. Alright, let's take a hydrate. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, that makes sense. That is true. Especially since for the most part, with those very few exceptions, the spiders are contained only to that big nasty room, so it makes sense what you're saying, that I distinctly remember the big one room and know how to deal with it, and then everything else is just like minor bits by comparison. Hey, it didn't even make the elevator didn't reach all the way down, so I don't have to wait for it to come back up again. Nice. So if I just die quickly enough, it's fine. Right, we didn't do it too early this time. There we go. The fact that we barely don't kill them is actually so bad, because it means I have to take a sedative every time. Like with the visceral attack, I mean. We just leave them alive just long enough to trigger another full acid frenzy. Come on then. I did it too early, we gotta go. Flop. Didn't even get to scream, because our heads were being nibbled off. Man, I did that so many times in a row successfully, and then I fuck it up once, and now I can't get the timing down again. This is what happens when things start going wrong. We were just cruising through the entire area, no problem whatsoever, including my nightmare room. Now we're just hard stuck. And we have to wait for the elevator again. Maybe I need a new strat for the winter lanterns. They are, but like the parry timing is sort of generous. Like I wasn't trying to be an ass about it earlier when I said, oh, you can sort of just do a strategy like that and be mostly fine with them. I usually feel somewhat confident in like parrying them and being fine. But yeah, as always, once you start messing up, you just keep going. Yeah, the thing about that is that this elevator actually takes a while to go all the way down. Like, this is quite the ride. And then I have to wait until halfway up again just to do that again. And in theory, I don't have to come back here if I only ever succeed once. Like, oh fuck, I was too busy rambling. Let's see if we quit in time. I think we quit before the pop, so we might be fine. But yeah, the thing is, I should only ever need to take that elevator once, is the point. So riding all the way back down and then back up again is probably even slower than just flipping the lever and waiting for it to come back up. So like, as I should probably not ride that one down and send it back up again. I pressed the button, I promise. Oops, I fucked up the menuing, never mind. We are what they call alive. Goodbye every blood vial in the game. Yeah, but the reason I'm grumbling is that no matter what you do, you're getting a shitty result, basically. Like, I grumble because if I have to wait for the elevator upstairs, that's waiting. But I'll also be grumbling while taking the elevator down and going back up. So, like, it's waiting or waiting, and I don't want to wait either time. So I'm gonna grumble on one of those points either way. There's no winning in that situation, sadly. Like, if you die here, you're just gonna have to suffer. Alright, come at me. Not that hard though. Are you serious? I think I quit before the frenzy pop, despite being in awe for a second at my capability to fuck this up. I will relentlessly cheese this from here. Like, I really can't be arsed to keep doing the ride every time. This doesn't take too long to load, so I don't mind having to go through this instead of respawning, which also takes a while to load, and then running here again. when gets came on. That is certainly a sentence and a bit. Goddamn. Alright, that's this part in theory done. Getting just chucking these sedatives at this point. I mean, there's getting came on and then there's getting came on, and there's a difference between them. You can tell my patience is running thin because I'm not playing the normal haha let's 1v1 and play proper spacing game, and instead I'm just running at them, ignoring the fact that there's more of them around. England, and yeah, you certainly do. Think there are multiple new sentences involving you, or coming out of your mouth since the start of chattage. Yeah, not every came is a good came on. Or something. I'll leave the fucking neologisms to you. I'll just focus on dying to these winter lanterns instead. So, what do we best do here? I think I do this. You just tank this pop, and then we heal, and then we fight you like normal. I might die. I am going to die. That is so ass! I killed her too! Oh fuck, I saw that coming. I could have changed my visceral attack timing. I could have just not done the visceral attack. But I was struggling to get the parried in the first place. God damn it. That even happened in a way where I couldn't quit out, I don't think. Maybe I could have done that since I recognized it so early. Oh, whatever. Don't worry, we'll get there one of these days. Hydrate, give me a sec. I quickly call the elevator and then I hydrate. Well, I have to wait 10 minutes anyway. We're also low on sedatives, so this might be a problem. I guess we can just tank it and use blood vials instead. Well, if we die again, I'll take the opportunity to get a drink while we wait for the elevator. But yeah, so basically, look how long it takes this elevator to just come back up. We would have to ride all this time down, and then 3/4 of the way back up just to not wait here. So I think that's still a net loss in timing, because we jump off fairly early, but the elevator goes down for quite a while, so... I think overall this is the slightly faster way of doing it. It's the fact that when I'm so close to them, parrying them feels so weird. Oh fuck, I pressed the wrong direction somehow. What I'm trying to say is I'm clearly just farming blood gems. Like I said earlier, these drop the good blood gems for the base game, so this is why we're here. We're just killing winter lanterns over and over to farm blood gems. Blood gems can be really powerful and really important to me right now, so I am certainly doing this intentionally. And dying is faster than running all the way back, you know, so it just makes sense, really, if you just think about it. Just think about it, guys. I did that way too early. At least I recognized that quickly, and my fingers are starting to get used to the exit game input stuff. Sustainable farming, nice. Is it really sustainable if I keep dying though? That sounds unsustainable. But maybe I'm being too picky about it. Maybe dying is just part of the process. I hope I'm far enough away that I don't just get fucked immediately. Good-ish. Well, we're gonna pop again. Not much we can do about it. I guess I could quickly exit the game. I don't know. I have only one sedative and I want to use it on the, I accidentally do a gesture, thank you game. I think I want to use it on the one where we have to cross the beam. Yeah, it's so much easier. Oh, gonna be tight in timing? Okay, good. It's so much easier to parry them when they're a step away from me, like a step further away rather than as close as possible. Yeah. I don't think you can actually iframe the frenzy with just a roll, but I'll keep trying because there's literally nothing else I can do. Oh, god. Alright, so time for the hard part again. Quickly think about... oh, hydrate. I gotta quickly go get a drink then. BRB. And I can't mute on this microphone, so you'll have to... Take a break, how dare you? That sounds remotely healthy, we don't do that here. We only hydrate and call that healthy, and that's gotta carry us physically. Alright. I have drunk, I have drank, whatever. English is hard, we jump. Alright, let's go speed fast this time. Oi, you git. I think I'm gonna still explode from that. Oh, that was perfect. Nice. Alright, cool. We're not done though. So, it's not quite time for celebration just yet, but hey, we got through one of the harder parts. This is the choir bell. I forgot what this does, so let's have a read. It's another magic item. Invigorates all cooperating parties, healing them. That's why I don't remember what this does, because I don't do much multiplayer on this. Special hunter tool of the choir, high-ranking members of the church, fashioned after a bell that projects an arcane sound across planes of existence. The sound of this smaller, silver version of the bell does not cross planes, but grants vigor and healing to all cooperators. Yeah, the thing is I won't get a lamp down here because this is an optional little dead-end offshoot for like bonus stuff, for like some lore and some items and stuff, so we're not gonna get a lamp here. As I bravely cross the beam again, since I have to. Also, hello you guys. Bullets. I think there's one more winter lantern down there-ish. So, fun fact about these weird skull formation thingies, these are like nightmare, I guess material is what I'm just gonna call it. These only appear in areas where there is actually frenzy stuff happening. So the brain was hanging out over here, like in this little cage area right in front of us. And there's also winter lanterns patrolling the area, so clearly this is frenzy central, and thus there's plenty of nightmare material stuff, like nightmare skulls, weird buildy decoration objects. We get some Great One's Wisdom, we get an Arcane Damp Blood Gem. Great One's Wisdom. Also all these corpses impaled through frenzy is very fitting. Great One's Wisdom, Great One's Wisdom, basically all of the inside. I think there's another lantern back here, like a winter lantern, not a lamp. So I think we're not home safe just yet. Oh boy, time to be famous by buying bullshit. First time chatter as well. Goodbye, this guy. Well, I guess it's normally first time chatter, so I don't know why I pointed that out. It's just funny, like, if you're, like, Twitch these days points out if someone is posting their first message in chat, it's like, hey, first time chat from viewer, first time message from viewer. And then it's usually just bots, which kind of defeats the purpose. Like, whenever I see that, oh, first new message, then, or first time message, I'm always just already twitching towards the ban button. Oh, right, this connects back here to the boss room for... what's his face? Where exactly is this, though? Which part of the boss fight? Oh, right here. Never mind, it's right at the entrance area. Good! So we have that shortcut, so now we don't have to fight these winter lanterns ever again if we don't want to. We're still not quite done, though. Which might seem insane, but that's because it is, because this is Frenzy City. Basically. Plop. I mean, buying followers and shit is also probably one of the worst ways of going about that shit anyway. So, first of all, we have a blood rock here, which is the material you need to plus 10 a weapon, so we can finally get our pizza cutter to plus 10. Also, notice how these, what used to be spider nests on the walls have now eyes on them. So this is, I guess, their final form, or whatever. You could just jump back down here, but there is actually another layer to the secret, I think. Do you just... I think you just jump down here, don't you? Was there an elevator? No, there's an elevator. Oh, where is that? That's further... That's Spider Town, so here. There's an elevator here somewhere now that we can use. So we go around here, and by one of these infinite abysses, there's now an elevator, I think, that we can use. Or maybe just a lever that we can flick to make an elevator appear that wasn't accessible before. Do you just stagger if we keep doing that? Nice. Good of you. I appreciate when you just stagger and make it easy. Ow. Ow. Okay. Your big friend there with the big old axe that is actually dangerous made it very easy to deal with you guys, and then you are trying to be a pain in the ass. What gives? Learn from the big man. Be more like your big mate. I think there's one trying to push me down here. And we pushed you down instead last time, so let's repeat that. So this elevator right here is new. We did not have that before, and this leads us all the way down to effectively the abyss. Well, more like CubeSat, nah, I'll take the elevator, don't worry. We have the torch on us, nice. So remember that weird frenzy brain that was hanging there? Yeah, it's still here. It fell all the way down, and it's still alive, and, like, I guess, writhing-ish? So what else would you do if you came across a fucking weird-ass broken sort of brain with claws and eyes on it? If not, try to make contact, so here we are, making contact with the brain. As God intended, basically. Set it on fire. Now that's some small brain thinking right the fuck there. You gotta make contact. Like, show it the 90-degree angle that you learned in school, and it's gonna be like, oh fuck, awesome, I'm all about that, so here we are. Hey, look at the camera being stuck behind the object, as I was talking about earlier. Neat. See how it pulls further away? Huh. Good demonstration of that. So you actually have to wait for quite a while, just to make sure that you don't find the secret accidentally, and you gotta be an insane fucker to try this gesture on a random brain. But you do actually get something from this. If you wait long enough. You gotta wait until it shifts the sides. I forgot what the time is, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. Even there's a heart in there somewhere. You need a boom boom every now and then. We get the Moon Rune. So we have just communicated with the Great One, or, well, what remains of a Great One. Hydrate our shell, 2 of them. And you should too. Does this have its own unique description? I don't think so. Let's have a look. Nope, these all say the same. Actually, let's read the description anyway. I think this says something neat, if I remember correctly. Especially for this situation. Transcription of Moon are spoken by the Great Ones inhabiting the Nightmare. The Great Ones that inhabit the Nightmare are sympathetic in spirit and often answer when called upon, and this is probably the ultimate answer when called upon. We stand in front of it and we gesture, and I think we also killed us, so Gian. So you were not quite all the way off with your set it on fire. Has a lot of HP. We barely have enough stamina to roll after doing a full series of swings. I think that's probably a good threshold to be on. I guess if we add a little bit more, that will make it a little bit more forgivable, or forgiving if we fuck up a little bit. Also, I should mention this before it dies next swing. Look at all this fucking blood on its eye and body, like, it's kind of very gruesome how that stays. Her dance. Yeah, I think we're doing it a favor though, like all things considered. We get the living string. That goes where? I think here somewhere maybe? I don't remember where this goes in the inventory. Is it here? No, it's just material, isn't it? I think it goes here. Oh yeah, there it is. Living string. The immense brain that Menses retrieved from the Nightmare was indeed lined with eyes on the inside, but they were of an evil sort, and the brain itself was terribly rotten. But even still, it was a legitimate great one, and left a relic. A living relic at that, which is a precious thing indeed. So yeah, it seems like it was rotten on the inside, and was pretty fucked up. And I mean, hanging out in this Nightmare, and then being, like, cut loose, and then falling this deep down into this endless abyss, void, whatever the fuck the underside of a Nightmare would be. Probably did it a favor by ending it right here. Can't imagine being stuck here in a Nightmare and being studied by these Menses assholes is a good way of spending your life. Your possibly infinite life. I mean, I'm not making a definitive call on that. I don't know enough about the game and the lore and the implications of what we just did to definitely call it a favor or whatever, but that's always how I interpret it anyway. Like, between it being like rotten and it being like the way it was strung up with chains and shit and hanging in the middle of this Nightmare Menses palace thingy, it did not seem like it was having a good life. Also, by the way, noticed something about like the clothes of the doll with her like weirdly long arms and those like sleeves and gloves that she's wearing. Might look familiar to you now that we've
very well. Let me
been through that place a little bit. Anyway, let's do some leveling.
farewell.
Alright, so now we get to upgrade our pizza cutter once more. Where are you at? There you at. Boom, full plus 10. Maximum upgrade. Oh yeah, it repairs automatically when upgrading. Very fine. Right, let's quickly slap on the big man rune. And anything else we want? I don't think so. Maybe more blood vials instead of whatever we were using. What were we using? Oh yeah, I. Yeah, they are basically twisted versions of the doll. Like, I don't think you should, if you're curious about that, you should probably look up some stuff. You can see pictures and comparisons between the Winter Lanterns and the doll. And if I remember correctly, the what looks like a brain and the bunch of mouths and shit, like the big head part of the Winter Lanterns is also resembling like a clumped up mass of messengers, like of the little creepy guys, if I remember that correctly. Like, creepy in quotation marks, actually kind of cute, but like the messengers hanging out everywhere. There's some weird amalgamation, nightmare twisted version of the doll and all things good and positive, basically. Do we keep the eye rune on, or do we put on more blood vials? Actually, fuck it, we'll just keep the eye rune on. I haven't really ran out of blood vials that much outside of boss fights, and if I completely run out of blood vials in a boss fight, then I'm fighting it poorly anyway, and that's probably gonna be fine. Alright, let us try to finish off the area. We are... Is this the shortest one? I think this is still the best place to move on from. We're almost done with this area. I could actually see an argument for not finishing the entire area, including the boss, before we move on with the rest of the game. There is one change that occurs if we do that, but I don't think I mind, so I think we'll just try to finish it off either way. Yeah, we don't need this elevator anymore. Instead we go this way. So these fuckers that look a lot like the Shadows of Yharnam exist here. They are not nice. Nice, we load them individually. That's good. They say with the most obvious commentary ever known to man. Like, oh yeah, we didn't die, that was good. I am currently fighting them one at a time instead of the entire group at once, that was also good. Just in case you guys didn't know. So the fireball having one also exists here. Ow. Fuck, I thought it was gonna be fine rolling downstairs. Rolling downstairs actually is a really bad idea and you shouldn't do it. So I don't know why I thought that. Haha. Very joke. I don't remember exactly where to go in this place, like the best order for me to do things in. I usually have, for most of the Souls games and for most of the areas, have my like pre-made little plan for how I'm going to approach every area, but I don't remember this area in enough detail to remember that. But I think it's not that big of an area to begin with, so it's probably not a big deal. I can handle it. So we have two options here. We can either go by the pig or we jump down here, and I think we start by jumping down here. Or maybe we try to sneak up on this one and then jump down afterwards. I think there's 2 or 3 pigs up here, and this is where people go to farm souls, or used to, at least. Because these pigs are fairly easy to deal with, especially if you manage to sneak up on them like this. And I think you can even chain backstab them. Yep. So if you use the moon rune that we're using, and then you also use the rune that gives you extra souls when you kill something with visceral attacks, these give you a lot of blood echoes, and like I said, there's multiple of them, so this is a really good spot that people used to use for farming blood echoes. These days, especially if you have PS Plus and can go online, there's better ways of farming souls and echoes. I should just stick with calling them souls and stop correcting myself every time, but I can't help it. But yeah, there's better ways of farming echoes these days, but that's what people used to do apparently. I was never one to farm much in these games. Like, I usually don't go out of my way to farm souls in the Souls games. I do go out of my way to farm blood vials in Bloodborne, because if you're ever hard stuck on something, you will eventually run out and have to farm new blood vials, which is one of the design decisions I really disagree with, but outside of that, farming was never really a thing I did too much of in Souls games, so I'm not necessarily an expert on that shit, and on where to farm and what to farm and whatever. but some things you just notice as the community discovers it and talks about it. I am really fumbling my words, noticing the the fact that I'm streaming for roughly 3 hours already. I've been talking quite a bit. It's always awkward. I feel like I have such a small time frame where I'm functional when it comes to streaming and talking a lot, for example. Like, oh, you haven't been up long enough yet, like you're still slightly sleepy, so if you start streaming now, then you're gonna be fumbling your words all the time and start talking shit. So you gotta be up at least a few hours before you start streaming, otherwise you're just gonna be talking shit constantly. But oh, if you've been on too long, or up too long, then you're gonna already start fading a little bit and hit like that low point in the middle of the day. So you just gotta try to do it quickly enough so you don't like start fading out already or whatever the fuck, or however the fuck I should phrase that. And then same with the amount of streaming, like oh, if you like stream for 3 hours, you'll start feeling shit about it, and then if you keep pushing on, eventually you hit that point where it's like, oh yeah, you can start functioning again. Like, I don't know. Ow. It's probably also the sort of thing where if you're streaming, then you are, like, if you're the one creating the content, quote unquote, then you notice that more, or like pay attention to it more and think about it more, whereas for the rest it's like not really that noticeable or not a big deal to begin with. But like it's usually the sort of thing that you as the streamer man obsess over. It's like when you have very minor audio issues, like oh, the audio balance isn't perfect here, or there's this very, very, very minor background hum that is only audible once every 20 minutes, and you're like, oh fuck, I hate this is unwatchable, I can't do this. But nobody else gives a single fuck. This is not a great position to be in. I think what you can do actually is you can kite these into each other and they will fight each other. But they'll also fight me, so I just gotta get lucky with whom they decide to target. Also, that hit me, I'm impressed. Or Mr. Pig decides to just not follow, that's cool too, I guess. Guess we gotta do everything ourselves, as per usual. So these pigs, while they're not that hard to farm like I said earlier, they can be pretty nasty in terms of damage, because if they ever hit you with their charge attack, they knock you on your ass, and depending on what they do while you're down, you might just be stuck in a position where you just cannot really recover. Like if they're right on top of you and keep doing more attacks and don't give you enough time and space to function again. Also their damage is really high. Goddamn. That was a really difficult backstab to get because I was at such an awkward angle. Pretty happy that I got it. Ow. Eh. Not a backstab, but it worked, so here we are. Thankfully they are blood vials, which is always beneficial, in addition to the comparatively large amount of echoes that they drop. Alright, I think that's this part dealt with then. This is just where the other pig was hanging out that we backstopped. Oh no, actually it's a little bit further. This was where the pig was hanging out that we backstopped. Right here. Good. On we go. Hey, remember how at the start of the stream I was like, hey, I should take my time every now and then and look around the environment because the environment is very pretty? We're approaching the end of the stream and I just remembered doing that, so here we are. Also, hey, remember that weird woman that appeared after we killed Rom the vacuous spider and was just pointing us to the moon? Oh, is that your voice line? So there's that one weird, almost like laughing sound, or maybe crying sound, it's sometimes hard to tell apart, that plays in the hidden workshop that I pointed out when we were there, probably like 4 sets ago? I don't know, it's been a while. And I didn't remember which voice line that was playing. Maybe it's hers, because her whining kind of sounds like it a little bit. Anyway, as we approach... Oh, I thought you disappeared. I thought you pointed us that way and then disappeared. Well, alright then. Isn't that what's supposed to happen? Okay, maybe I'm just dumb. Anyway. So, this chest is a mystery to me. I'll talk about the woman more in a second. This chest is a mystery to me because this has a Yosefka's blood vial, and I cannot tell you why. So, Yosefka's blood vial we got at Yosefka's clinic for obvious reasons when Imposter Yosefka came in and killed the original one, and then the original one had dropped 1 Yosefka's blood vial. You can also get these very early on in the game, before the first time skip, or like the first time of day change. If you, I think, die enough and ask Yosefka enough for help, she'll eventually offer you these blood vials as her means of helping you. And you can only ever carry 1 of these, which is why 1 of these at a time, which is why we can't carry the second one. So we can just use this one and pick up the new one, because otherwise it will disappear, because I tried picking it up. But I have no idea why this blood vial is here. This is not Yosefka up there. This is also not directly related to Yosefka from what I can remember and or tell. I don't know why this is here. This probably has some sort of story and lore meaning, but I am not educated enough. No, that can't really be the case, because in terms of what happens during the game, the real Yosefka, which is how you get that blood vial, or who you get those blood vials from, is already dead by this point, or has been transformed into one of these mushroom people, basically. And this woman is also, like, we don't know that yet. I think you only find out by going through the full child's dungeons, but this is the Vile Blood Queen, the original one, I think, if I remember correctly. I forgot her name. Not the current one. Like, I forgot what her name is. I don't know. But yeah, I think this is the Queen of the Vile Bloods, and she's like ancient and shit. I don't think this is directly related to Yosefka in any way, but at least not from what I can remember or know, so maybe I just haven't been paying attention ever, or enough attention ever, but I don't know. I don't see how Yosefka fits into this, because Yosefka herself also plays just such a minor part in the whole thing. Like, she is only there at the start of the game. As soon as the first time shift happens, she appears, or she disappears rather, either way. She's not mentioned by anyone. The imposter Yosefka comes and does her own work, and likely is actually part of the church, or maybe of the choir or whatever. Like, there's some weird shit about that, and I just can't place how Yosefka's blood vial is there, basically. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so regarding that room that I was talking about earlier, with all the Menses people sitting on chairs and possibly collectively dreaming with these weird cages on their heads, with the big man Mikolaj himself sitting in the center and likely being the host of the whole group, here is their dream equivalent. I guess they made it up here, or maybe that's just their physical representations, or what they're currently looking like physically. This is a very small one. I guess there's children in here as well. Fantastic. This one too. I've never actually paid attention to that. Anyway, we hear the baby crying. And that's baby Murgo up there. We're gonna not fight him, but something else will occur. But we will fight something here. I have a lot of souls on me that I should probably go spend if I was a more reasonable man, but I'm not known to be reasonable, so here we go. I hydrate, you should too. Absolutely. So we have the music box version of well, this is called Murgo's Lullaby. Funnily enough, this is the exact same track that the music box from that little girl back in Yharnam was playing. Once again, I have no idea what the direct implication is, if that's just a common like lullaby thing that's playing in, or that is known in Yharnam, or if somehow she's related to all this directly. I have no fucking idea. Anyway, so apparently that little baby is Murgo, and this is Murgo's wet nurse. This is actually a great one, like a proper great one, and I think the implication is that we can't see it, like it's beyond our eyes to see the physical form, at least for the most part. We see the cloth and everything though, and we see some claws and it's using swords. Thus, that's the sort of stuff we understand, so... oddly enough, this fight is kind of awkward, in the sense that it's one of the final bosses of the game, but it's weirdly easy, or at least it's weirdly easy to accidentally, like, sort of cheese, unless you are like me and double dodge into that attack accidentally and then get one shot despite having 40 endurance and the level 2 anti-clockwise metamorphosis rune. I don't think I could have much more HP at this point in the game than I currently have, because we're basically full tank build and then I got one shot. That's all on me though. Of course this happens as I'm talking about how easy this boss is, usually. Just because karma likes screwing one over when one talks about that sort of shit. But yeah, this is kind of one of, like, depending on the ending you choose, this is your final boss, or this could be your final boss, I should say. And if you choose that ending, then you have a very disappointing final boss. The design visually and in terms of atmosphere is fantastic for this fight, but the actual combat itself isn't terribly interesting. This boss cannot handle if you stay behind it. Like, if you're staying right behind it and just attack its back all the time, it has very few attacks to get you off of her, or off of it. And it's really kind of a shame. It has two gimmicks, some special attacks it can do. One of it is kind of hard, or one of the two gimmicks is hard and the other is sort of easy. We didn't survive long enough to have those happen. If you're using a faster weapon, this fight is even easier because you're using, like, you have more time to move back behind the boss between every swing, so I think we're not doing this sort of optimally, if you will, but anyway, I'm just making a bad excuse here. This should be a fairly simple fight. Maybe this will be the fight. Like, usually every run or playthrough of a Souls game, you have that one boss where you're like, hey, this is normally not a problem at all, and then you get to that boss and suddenly you're struggling with a fight that you normally never have trouble with. I've been succeeding against a lot of bosses that I usually struggle against. Maybe this will be the anti-fight. Maybe this is the one where my luck runs out. Oh, we staggered him. I never know. I think wet nurse could also be male, but I think traditionally they're female or something. So I don't know if this is supposed to be male or female, or maybe that doesn't even matter to great ones, so who gives a fuck? My brain wants to say her, and I'm just explaining to Stu why and how. So this is one of the two gimmicks that this boss can use. Get staggered. Oops. I guess that spin attack that we got one-shot by earlier is the one thing I really need to be afraid of. Ow. So during that fancy darkness phase, there's a bunch of illusions of the boss appearing and attacking you. If you're in a bad spot, like we were there for one moment, then it can be pretty easy to like have trouble with that. That's the hard thing that can happen during the fight. But if you just play safe during it and just run away, it's pretty difficult to die for the most part. Like I said, the one attack that does a lot of damage is that spin, and that spin has a very long wind-up time, so if you're even remotely on top of what's going on, you should almost always be fine. That weird walking forwards and flailing attack looks dangerous, but it is absolutely the opposite of dangerous, because if you're just behind the boss and hitting it the entire time, you usually recover basically all the damage you take just through rallying, so that's not something to worry about at all. And whenever the boss does that, it's cutting down the fight by quite a bit because it's such a good opportunity for you to do damage on. Like during this, if I was behind the boss right now, I could just hit it for free, and anytime I got slapped, I just recover my HP with the rally mechanic, so it's kind of a weird one. Ow. Thought I was just gonna be able to sprint by. Another fancy face, or just teleporting? Just teleporting. Fancy face time, just stagger throw, and do this. Alright, that might be the end of Murgo. Also note that it didn't say prey slaughtered like normal, but in this case it said nightmare slain, so this is probably the actual source of the nightmare, and it has been murdered successfully. So now that that is done, we have if we just wanted to end the game right now, we could. We have access to the first of 3 base game endings, or just 3 endings in general. I think the endings don't change through the DLC, do they? But yeah, we have the first of 3 endings that we could do right the fuck now if we wanted to. We don't want to do that though, we're gonna go all the way. There is, however, something that has changed in the dream now, and it is going to be very obvious once we return. Shit's on fire. With our task successfully accomplished, apparently, I guess the dream is on fire, and we're basically done. Let's see what you have to say to this.
Good hunter, you have come.
Lude.
Dawn will soon break. This night and this dream will end. Gammon awaits you at the foot of the great tree. Very well.
Let's quickly level. Let's do 30 endurance like we planned. I say we involving you in my bad build decisions.
Good hunter.
Nope, nothing new to say.
Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.
So we can now go through this gate that was previously locked. Over here. Aha, this is now open. In this beautiful field of flowers we can go meet German up at the tree. And he will release us from the dream. We will wake up and the night will be over. But we're not quite done yet with Bloodborne. There's still things to do. A decent number of things as well. We did pick up another third of umbilical cord, or another third umbilical cord I should say. Let's have a quick look. Yes, this one, okay. A great relic, also known as the Cord of the Eye. Every infant Great One has this precursor to the umbilical cord. Every Great One loses its child and then yearns for a surrogate. This cord granted Menses audience with Murgo, but resulted in the stillbirth of their brains, used to gain insight and, so they say, eyes on the inside, although no one remembers what that truly entails. So this is the one that apparently the School of Menses used to create the Nightmare Menses, which, you know, fuck 'em. Fucking spider town bullshit, not happy, not a great place to be. I think that's all we got from there immediately, right? I think we're... Yeah, okay. So, for the rest of the base game, there's only a few quest lines that we haven't fully resolved, but we're not going to be doing that today, we're going to end the stream here. We're also not... Like, I'm not sure, I'm probably going to weave these quest lines in as we go for the next few streams, because the DLC is still to be done. We dipped our toes in there briefly to grab the pizza cutter, but the DLC is fairly big, and there's a few very good bosses, some of my favorite bosses in the entire series, in fact, so yeah, this is gonna be still a bunch of stuff to do, and yeah, we'll weave in the side quests as we go along. Maybe we'll just start next stream with that or something, I don't know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, this is gonna be it for today, and I hope you had a fun time. Well, as much fun as you can have in Yarnum, which is dubious, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching, GN.